Greetings, Bitcoiners across the world. I have Gigi with me. He's a well-known podcaster, influencer, Bitcoiner. All across the world, people know Gigi from his longtime podcast, Your Bitcoin Story, which has now become Unruggable. He did this podcast while working 2 full-time jobs to make ends meet while he was helping raise and be a dad, father with a new and growing family. We're going to talk about time, how he managed time. He took a leap of faith and went all in on himself, on Bitcoin, on freedom. He's now connecting with people from all walks of life, doubling down on his podcast, launched a one-on-one Bitcoin self-custody mentorship program. It's called Become Unruggable. We'll get to that on his website. It's not a one-size-fit-all approach. It's personalized at one's own pace throughout multiple video calls, working together. He's also the self-custody and wallet experience lead at Bowl Bitcoin, an awesome-based Bitcoin company. And he's created an open source step-by-step guide on the web, a guided web app called First Sat. That's really cool to see too. We'll look at that. It gets Bitcoin beginners from a hardware wallet in their drawer to actually their first sats in cold storage. It can be a daunting step. People don't always know what to do. We're going to look at that. The only thing between you having your Bitcoin in full self-sovereignty is your decision to take control. So become unruggable with Gigi. In any case, I can't wait to introduce Gigi. Welcome. Thanks for joining me. We're making our time synchronization work out right now, being across the planet. Good morning, Gigi. Good afternoon.
Good morning to you. Good afternoon to me, Fritz. Thanks a lot for that. Amazing introduction. It's a pleasure to be here with you, and I'm really looking forward to our conversation and hopefully sharing some valuable high signal value to all the listeners tuning in and future listeners.
Yeah, always aiming for that. We were, speaking of your quality time, the time that you're giving to me, I really appreciate it. We were thinking of time. The first thing that comes to mind, because I experienced this myself, I've got a daytime fiat job that I really can't ignore. Sometimes it involves interruptions late at night or random call-ins or emergencies. And so I'm balancing like a fiat job. As a responsible man, I want to take care of my family. So making ends meet, I've got a full-time job. And then you find Bitcoin and you've got this consuming hobby and paradigm shift going on in your mind. You're translating that for your wife or your associates and your family. You're going through these personal changes, balancing a full-time job, raising kids, having new kids. I did as well. 5 years ago, had a new one myself. So you're balancing and juggling all these things. And we were just talking about time. For one, somewhat time being in your mind and how you like manage time and managing it tighter and tighter and tighter and fitting things in. How did you do it back then? Because I experience aspects of all that all the time. How did you handle it then when you were starting out?
Yeah, so I guess you saw my pinned X tweet, where kind of my manifesto of decoupling from the 9-to-5 fiat job and going into full working in freedom tech. Essentially how I was doing it. So when COVID came about, I became the father for the first time, and everything fundamentally changed from the aspect of being a father, bringing in essentially, your own child, and then essentially the world shutting down and never reopening. And inflation kicking in, and things are just getting way more expensive. And I was working, I had a full 9-to-5 job, and then essentially it wasn't really covering the bills. So then I had to get another one, and I was doing 2 full-time jobs and essentially working on my Bitcoin podcast, which back then in 2020 didn't launch. I only launched it in the summer of 2023, I believe, June of 2023. But my journey, like as some people that listen to my journey, essentially it started in 2017. Had a wild ride from doing all educational stuff to being involved in the whole shitcoinery scams and losing a whole lot of Bitcoin, learning a painful lesson.
Many of us have been there.
Yeah, like I'm not going to ponder on that, but essentially going back to your question, like how did I do it? So working 2 full-time jobs and launching my podcast, which you mentioned, Your Bitcoin Story, which at the moment, actually last October, I paused it and I shifted. I'll get to that, why that happened. But essentially it was draining. I was working 2 full-time jobs at night, recording these podcasts, trying to raise 2 kids, be a husband at the same time, and have some personal time just became ridiculous. And I felt like this hamster on a wheel that just kept spinning faster and faster and faster. And I realized at some point you are going to burn out. And essentially decision time came in. Like, do I just let go of the podcast and let go of my passion and essentially potentially one day working full-time in Bitcoin and freedom tech? Or I just stick to the fiat mine and I keep on grinding. And it was a tough decision because, as you said, and you have the same experience when you have a family to feed. You can't just, take radical decisions like that. If I would be solo and 10 years ago, I could survive on pot noodles for 2 years straight, not a problem. But raising small kids was like a big responsibility.
Yeah.
But then I decided, not to be cliche with the YOLO, but really like you do live one life in this reality that we're experiencing.
You start to value your time. Where are you spending your time?
Correct. And also like a lot of people in life look for careers and opportunities where they can make more money because they think with more money, they're going to get some type of freedom. And you get to realize the more money you're making, you're never satisfied. So like if you want to make 100,000, you get to the 100,000 and that's not the end of the game. Then you want 500,000, then you want 1 million, then you want 10 million. And the same thing goes with the billionaires club, right? Once someone gets $1 billion, it's not enough. I want 5, I want 10.
I need more.
I need more. Like some people now are pushing for the $1 trillion status. But at the end of the day, the real freedom is not in the money. The real freedom is that I can wake up and start my day at any point in time. I can pause whatever I'm doing, apart from this podcast, because I value your time as well, Fritz.
Thank you.
But
I do appreciate that.
I can just step away at any point, go spend time with the kids, go touch grass, not respond to anyone, essentially. Dictate, be the controller of my own time. Even though, as I'll get to, I work full-time now at Bull Bitcoin. But I don't see that as a 9-to-5 job. That's I joined the camaraderie of a brotherhood of freedom warriors where we are building some incredible open source tech to help free up people from their essentially fiat enslavement. So long story short, how did I get to where I am right now? So as people know and read my pinned post on X, I essentially, it's been 1.5 years ago. So in December of 2024, which feels like yesterday, we were approaching this 100K mark of Bitcoin and everybody's like, when are we going to break 100K? And everybody was celebrating, what are you going to buy at 100,000? And Gigi got that question as well. I wasn't immune to that question. And every time I got that question, I said, at the 100K, I'm buying my own freedom. And they're like, well, what do you mean? And I said, I'm stepping away from the fiat mine and I'm just going full-time focus on my podcast, which was growing over the 1.5 years that I was pushing it. But it was just a side thing. I didn't have time, to fully value it and really go into production and really try and push it out. I was getting about, to throw some numbers, around 2,000 listens, downloads across platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Fountain per month, which was decent for like a side gig, doing everything solo, 1 episode a week. But I felt like I could do more. So then in December of 2024, I stepped away. I resigned from the fiat mines. And as of January last year, I went full-time into working on the podcast. And in a matter of 3 months, just in the first quarter, I essentially 5x'd that number. It was getting around 10,000 downloads, which was impressive. Maybe if you look at my YouTube channel, like it's got around 1,000 subscribers, but YouTube's not everything. Most of the downloads were coming from Fountain because I was really pushing the Fountain on. And at the end of the day, to me, it wasn't numbers. Like I didn't care. Do I have 1,000 followers? I have 10,000 followers. That wasn't a benchmark that's going to essentially, dictate, am I going to carry on or not? I wanted to do it for as long as I was actually enjoying it. And before the rebranding, as you see, Become Unruggable, it was called Your Bitcoin Story. The whole essence of the podcast was to get on guests and ask them, how did you discover Bitcoin? Like, how did it all start to you? Because I was always fascinated, asking Bitcoiners when I'd meet them, like, how did you discover Bitcoin? Like, how did you get started? And after recording close to 150 episodes, I personally got sick of the question, how did you discover Bitcoin? Because there's, essentially there's 3 classes. There's like the OGs that found it in the early days, like the programmers, the geek squad, which lost a lot of it or sold it when it hit $100. Then you have myself bucket, the 2017 class, the guys that entered with the whole ICO craze and NFTs and everything. And, this is this Web 3.0.
Maybe right after the block size wars and things kind of
Correct.
settled down a little bit, and you either forked off and got distracted, or you stuck with Bitcoin and
Stuck with Bitcoin. Correct. And then you have the third class, which is what I call the post-COVID, the 2020 and beyond, like people that were cut off, that suddenly had a lot of time on their hands, and had, going back to the time aspect, had time to study and learn and go deeper down the rabbit hole and go, holy shit, like this is not just a digital token, like there's a lot more behind it. So there was those three camps, and I kept hearing the same stories, and it came to a point, Fritz, where I was with my podcast, the people that listened, they realized that I didn't have this interview. I called it conversation. So, which is similar to what you do. It's not like you have just questions and you're firing them away. I had a two-way conversation, and I would give my inputs and go on my own rants with the guests and give my point of view. And it came to a stage where I kept repeating the same stuff. And I was like, my God, like if I'm getting sick of this, the listeners must be getting sick of it. And I just didn't enjoy it. And at the end of the day, thankfully, I didn't have like big commitments with sponsorships, with 12-month deals that I had to commit to. There was no boss, picking me with a stick like, Gigi, go stronger. I kind of wanted to pivot to something else. And thankfully, with the podcast, so this is what I want to share with the listeners, it opened this whole new opportunity to leading me to Bull Bitcoin, where I work proudly now as the lead and head of the wallet support and operations.
Love Bull Bitcoin. Solidly based. I love
so solidly based. So maybe actually before how I joined Bull Bitcoin, for the listeners who are hearing Bull Bitcoin for the first time, it's essentially I would say the oldest still running Bitcoin only exchange in the world, that launched in 2013 from Montreal by Francis Pouliot, who's still the founder. And one fun fact that I want to really highlight, and whenever I get the opportunity, I bring it up, which most people don't know, Bull Bitcoin is probably one of the only Bitcoin companies, and especially exchanges, that is self-funded. Francis Pouliot essentially invested, talk about Bitcoin strategic reserve, like Bull Bitcoin is the pioneer of Bitcoin strategic reserve, because he essentially reinvested all of the money from the exchange from the early days into building it out. And we, to this day, have no investors, have no VCs, have no shareholders to explain to. And largely that's why we stuck to being Bitcoin only, not bringing in shitcoins and, being the Coinbases and the other, exchanges, which that's where all the money is, right? Like bring in these coins, pumps and dumps. And it's really hard to survive when you're just, selling freedom money with Bitcoin. But Francis did manage to pull it through. And it was a company that I was very fond of. But for a decade, they were just focused on Canada. That's where it launched. And that was the main market, serving Canada, because the team was very small. Even today, it's very small. It's sub 50 people. But it like the people that work at Bull Bitcoin are hardcore rock stars, because you're a man of many trades. And it's a company where you kind of, if your paths cross with them, you get on board. There's no like boards for advertising, even though might sound hypocritical. Now we are looking for a back-end dev, but that's a specific thing, a hole that we need to fill in. But generally, there was never like boards and advertisements and applications or like careers page. It was, if you met Francis or some of the core team members, and you could bring some value and you had the same mission and alignment, you essentially could, join the brotherhood. And in that, so over a year ago in January, when I took my leap of faith, they actually opened up to Europe. So it allowed me to essentially get access and try out Bull Bitcoin for myself after following Bull Bitcoin for many years in Francis. And it was just absolutely best experience I've ever had. I was using Strike before them, which was also decent. But when it comes to customer support, a lot of people today hate that when you need support, you're either submitting tickets that you wait for weeks to get replies, or you go to the live chat and you're speaking to a bot in a loop where you get nowhere. We at Bull Bitcoin have no bots. Whenever you go to support chat within the wallet app, and we can talk a little bit about that as well, or on the exchange, you are speaking to a human at the other end, an actual Bitcoin expert that knows his stuff, not just some randomer on the other side of the world that works in support. So
awesome.
like the self experience I had from the beginning was phenomenal, and I was like, wow, like if ever an opportunity comes for me to get back into actual employment, like Bull Bitcoin's the company I want to work
Working
for.
in Bitcoin, yeah,
Working
awesome.
in Bitcoin, right? And then in Prague, BTC Prague, which I'm sure a lot of the listeners are familiar with, one of the most premium Bitcoin only conferences here in Europe. Francis was there, and the whole European team was there, and we just really hit it off for the duration of the 4 days. And one thing led to another, and then I said, Francis, like, I'd love to have you on the podcast. And Francis, he's like a man of many lives. He does so many things, and he lives in the middle of a Costa Rican jungle. Like, he lives a very different life to the average Joe. There's no, office lifestyle. So, and he's very careful with his time. Like, he doesn't really do that many podcast appearances, and essentially Gigi was no one with this little podcast trying to get him on, but he really wanted to come on, and we actually shot a 2-hour episode. For those of you, that's actually my last episode on your Bitcoin story. I did record a couple of more afterwards, but I wanted to kind of end it on the highlight because the episode, and I would highly recommend, if you want to hear what Bull Bitcoin's about and hear an OG story perspective, like, highly recommended. Like, after I recorded that one, I was like, poof, like you can't go higher from here. Like, I don't know who would have to top it off, a Max Kaiser or Andres Antonopoulos. Well, Andres Antonopoulos doesn't even do them anymore. But I mean, like, just that to me was like, it was the peak. And then we carried on talking, and I joined them because they were going to launch their Bull wallet. Maybe this is a good opportunity to bring it up. It's our fully open source Bitcoin wallet, self-custody wallet for both iOS and Android that publicly launched in the middle of October. And I joined Bull Bitcoin at the start of October, so right in time for it. And it was a wallet that was being in development for over 2 years, which essentially, so if you type in wallet.bullbitcoin.com, you will see the wallet. It's a wallet that Francis built for himself, right? So this wasn't like go to market, how do we create a product to get new customers? It was essentially Francis wanted to build a hardcore cypherpunk, but easy to use wallet that had many different aspects of privacy, integrations with hardware wallets. Like, we'll get to that also. Like, there's some very unique cases with this wallet, and we essentially made it absolutely free. There's no commissions. We don't make any money of it. The exchange essentially funds this freedom tech that we're giving out to the people. There's, as you see, no KYC, so you can integrate your exchange to it. But if you don't want to, or you're in a region of the world that we don't serve, you don't have to use the exchange. So, and it's fully self-custodial, and it has a lot of tricks up its sleeve. So it's easy to use for, let's say, a grandma, the same as someone that's a hardcore cypherpunk that values his privacy. And what's some more advanced features all in one. And yeah, that's essentially when I came in, they needed help with someone to streamline that. So I created all the tutorials, the guides for the wallet. And we were essentially announcing new memberships with hardware wallet integrations every week. So we started off with the Cold Card Q, because the team's very close with CoinKite. Being based in Canada, and Francis is all-time friends with Rodolfo with NVK. So we started with them, but then Seed Signer, Foundation Passport, Blockstream Jade, basically the most prominent, most popular hardware wallets are all integrated. So I was creating all of that, tutorials, videos, guides. And then at the start of this year, we had a certain surprise with some bugs that were unforeseen in some third-party libraries, where there were some things that went wrong, and basically support got very vital. And that's when I pivoted to the role of being head of support and being the front-facing figure for Bull Wallet for the world. And my life and schedule changed in overnight. But it was amazing because it opened up so many new responsibilities, new things that I had to learn on the go, and also vibe coding, right? Like something that we'll get into. And you mentioned First Sat, which is one of the things that I vibe coded literally in an evening. But apart from that, awesome. I've been doing a lot of stuff on the internal, which is not public. It's all on Git, but it's private for the back end, building processes for the team on how to handle different supports, tracking wallet bugs, having, you know, the whole team in line with how to troubleshoot stuff, giving insights to devs, which things to tackle on, with charts, animations. Like if it wouldn't be private, I would gladly put it up, and it's super impressive. But privacy reasons, I can't. But you'll have to take my words for it. Like I got a lot of experience of that. And then one evening, I'm reading Giacomo's, as everybody knows, Giacomo Zucco has his rants on X, and he talked about how, you know, essentially he's been doing for much longer what I do with Become Unruggable, you know, helping people with setting up their Bitcoin wallet, where to buy, how to set up channels, multi-sig and everything. And he was like, why is there no like one app or like one site which kind of compiles a lot of these things into one? And I was like, like Giacomo has a point. So I turned to my good friend Claude Code, and we started chatting. I was like, hey man, like let's build a web app tonight. I told him basically the basis of what I wanted in it, like where a lot of people from self-experience with Become Unruggable, they have hardware wallets, but they never set them up. They still keep all their stack on Coinbase or whatever exchange they're using. And there's many reasons. It's either they're intimidated, or they don't want to do something wrong, or it's just like delaying for a later time, or they think it's too complicated. And I was like, well, why not just build this first SAT? The idea behind first SAT was essentially, when you have Bitcoin on exchange, it's not your Bitcoin, it's the exchange's Bitcoin, it's an IOU. But when you move it to cold storage, it's actually your first Bitcoin. So I called it, that's where the first SAT come behind. Yeah. And instead of focusing on all the wallets, I went for, you know, Foundation Passport, which is, I would say, one of my personal favorites. I've tested nearly all of them, and this one, I must say, is a fantastic device. Yet they have now this new Prime one, but I'm talking about the Passport Foundation, the core one. It's so easy to set up. It's super robust. It's super incognito. Like when you travel, you know, across borders with this, it looks like a dumb phone. Yeah, like nobody really goes for it. And the good thing about it is with the battery. So most people don't know that the battery in this is the same one that the Nokia had. So in case this dies, you can really simply get like a $10 battery of Amazon. Nokia use these, I don't know what they're called. They're like 33. I don't know, I'm not going to dig in, but it's like a universal battery that you can just get like of Amazon or AliExpress and just plug it in. So it's not like a lot of use cases, like people when they have internal batteries on a cold storage and they die, you need to buy a new device. But here it's essentially universal. And I decided to go with Passport because it's really straightforward. And in the first SAT, I did the whole guide step by step. So maybe if you can open up the website just to show a quick preview. Yeah. It tells you, it guides you by steps, right? So you have the Let's Get Started button. And
it tells you exactly what you need step by step. People need that mentorship where they start doing their own research and they don't know quite where to start. And it's like rolling the dice. You hope they find the right path, but a lot of people are like, hey, this is super important. It's super careful. I want to do this right. I really, you know, care a lot about this. I'm going to research carefully, but you can also get distracted and complicated and then change your mind. And you're like, oh, I don't have like a mentor. And this tells you exactly simple step by step what to do. And it tells you exactly what you need right here.
And it's absolutely free and open source, right? You don't have to pay me a dime because I have the Become Unruggable, which is like my personal mentoring one-on-one. But I realized not everybody can afford it. And second of all, some people might be intimidated. Like even though I keep utmost privacy, like some people maybe just don't want to do a call and discover. They would rather do it in their own pace and simplified. So this is the target audience I created it for. And essentially it tells you why, the importance of it. And it takes you the whole step of how you set up your passport, how you then pair it and verify it with the Envoy app, which is the native app from Foundation to verify that you have a genuine device. And then I also take the next step where I tell them how to connect it to Sparrow, which I think if you're serious about your Bitcoin, you need to use Sparrow open source software wallet, which in my opinion is the best software wallet on
Sparrow's awesome.
That you can use it. And it's the most versatile, and it's a nice entryway for you to experience Sparrow. And then later, if you get another device, it's much easier to connect it and integrate it and use it. And then finally, I also have the connection to Bull Wallet because we can pair it with Bull Wallet. So essentially, I call Bull Wallet the Sparrow wallet in your pocket that you can have, because you can broadcast transactions from your cold storage using your Bull Wallet app in an air-gapped fashion. So it's all QR scans or NFC. And of course, seed storage, which MicroSeed, I know you have a close affiliation, and it's one of my personal solutions for keeping your seed backed up on a little 1-inch metal washer. I also have that inside. So as a recommendation. So there we go. We have that. I have the MicroSeed. So
stamp your key, your seed phrase, what have you. One tiny little washer, hide it, obscure it as you like. Yeah.
Amazing, right? So
awesome.
Essentially, I have all of that in this guide, absolutely free. It walks you through. Important fact, like even tells you to verify before you move your sats, like towards the end. But anyone curious, check it out. I'm sure Fritz will put the links in the description. Towards the end, before you start moving your stack to it, I encourage people to do a small sats test, like send like 5,000 or 10,000 sats to the wallet. You receive it, wipe the wallet, recover it with the seed phrase that you wrote down, and only then stamp it into metal and actually be moving bigger amounts. Because a lot of people just set it up in a rush. They don't verify it. They start moving their Bitcoin, and then suddenly they lose their hardware wallet or it breaks. They look for their seed words. They're nowhere to be found, and that's it. You rugged yourself. You didn't even have to be rugged by a scammer. You essentially rugged yourself.
Horror.
Which is but it happens a lot, and nobody really emphasizes on this crucial step. Well, I mean, I don't know why. I'm sure Bitcoin mentors and Bitcoin advisors do, but the general person that gives you guides like how to set up a cold storage doesn't tell you that crucial step to test it, wipe, restore, and then move forward. Which so I essentially did that in a night, less than 2 hours from the time that I read Giacomo's post. It was 1 a.m. Had my little brainstorm chat with Claude Code, got it all vibe coded, connected it, pulled it to GitHub in a repo. So I encourage anyone that wants to essentially fork it and take it further, feel free. There's no IP, it's all open source. That's why I love open source. And actually, I want to take it further in my free time. I want to have essentially the next step would be where once you go to first sat, you will get to choose what hardware wallet you have. Is it Passport Foundation? Is it Seed Signer? Is it Cold Card? And then it takes you individually for that step, and through the process, connecting Sparrow, connecting Bull Wallet, and securing your seed. But that's when I have some more time. Essentially, this is just like my gift to two fellow freedom warriors that want to do it in their own time. But maybe it's a good time to bring up the Become Unruggable, why I launched Become Unruggable. And for listeners, the URL is Be Unruggable. Someone stole the Become Unruggable. I wasn't ready to pay 5,000 $5,000 for that domain, and I made it shorter. I said, anyways, it's too long of a domain. I said, actually, you want to Be Unruggable. So it's
Be Unruggable. It's good. BeUnruggable.com. Here, it's right here.
That's the one. Yeah. And essentially, the idea of that was when I decided to go full-time into my podcast journey. Actually, you can restart, because if you see the background picture for some reason, it didn't load.
I think
it didn't load for sure.
I think my internet's acting goofy when
anyways,
I'm streaming.
We can close it. We'll leave it in the description. So essentially, the idea why I launched Become Unruggable was when going back to me deciding to take the leap of faith and go all time on my podcast, I had some savings allocated for, let's say, for the next 6 to 9 months, but I had to make a living of something. And as a podcaster, as I'm sure some of you guys know, the only source of fund, it's not really getting paid by the platforms. You have to have a really big following to be actually making a living of it. But the first step is getting an affiliate program and then getting some type of sponsorship where it's essentially covering your bills. But I didn't really want to be shilling other people's stuff. And I would only associate myself with companies of products that I actually use. I don't use that many products, so my choices were very narrow. and I wanted to kind of, instead of promoting someone else's stuff just to get paid, I said, why don't I offer a service where essentially people buy off me something that I'm passionate about? And that was self-custody. I was helping people for many years, from family members, friends, anyone that reached out to me. Hey, I need some advice. I need some help. I was doing essentially for free, just helping it out. And then I was like, like there's more and more people listening to my podcast. More and more people are reaching out to me to ask me questions. Why don't I do it as a service? Because Bitcoin advisory became popular. Bitcoin mentors, Bitcoin advisors, the Bitcoin way. I'm really good friends with all of them, from Tony to Ben Perrin to, and I essentially had this choice where do I choose one camp to go with and be another advisor, or do I just go my own way and promote myself? And kind of that's my thing. That's what covered the bills.
Yeah.
And I decided to take the hard path, like Francis, bootstrap his own exchange. I was like, I'll bootstrap, become unruggable. And it was good. I'm not going to say like it was excessive. Like there was every month I would get 2 to 3 new mentees that came through, which when you don't have to share the section of your pie, like it's more than enough if you get 2-3 mentees a month. But then I was kind of missing a void. Like I want to do more than this. Like I don't want to just help 2-3 people a month and just record these stories. And that's where we pinned it to Prague. I met Francis, I met the team. I told them, hey guys, like I would love to somehow contribute to the company and the product. And then essentially October came around, I joined Bull Bitcoin, and actually in 2 weeks it's going to be 6 months since I've been with them. It feels like I started like last month, but like
time flies.
When you're having a great time absolutely flies. So yeah, maybe that was a little bit of a long rant, but I wanted to kind of give you a full scope. How did I get to where I am? And who knows where I'll be in 12 months, in 5 years. I don't try to focus that much on that. I'm more focused on how much value I can provide today in the moment, where my resources are best used. And the most important thing is enjoying what I do. Not doing anything for the money. May that be my mentorship, may that be my contributions to Bull Bitcoin. It's all, I'm doing it because I really enjoy what I do. And I have this philosophy: if you do what you enjoy, the money will follow. But too many people focus on how do I make a lot of money to enjoy life. But you should look at it the other way. Like if you enjoy life and actually offer some value to someone, and especially in Bitcoin, that's a huge thing. If you're not providing value, proof of work, and actually giving something, you're not going to make jack shit. Because in legacy markets, you could be a rent seeker and give absolutely no value, but because your daddy knew people and you got a nice penthouse office in a fancy office building, you're essentially making so much money. So there's many things that led me to here, but yeah, I'll close it on here to sum it up. Like I really value my time, and I really dedicate it to what I enjoy, and take it step by step, and not try to be too subtracted by the future. Like what happens? Who the hell knows? We might hit by an asteroid after this podcast and it's all gone. Lights go out, So at least I'll be happy with what I've done today.
Yeah, about a week or so ago, I had my own family. When you're a Bitcoiner and you're Bitcoiners, I think they're unique in the sense when you're early, as we are, you're someone who is perpetually curious. You're always learning. You're kind of Sigma in the sense that you're not just following the herd and waiting to be told what's safe, what's approved, what's everybody else doing. You're going out there and finding it for yourself. And you can put in proof of work because you got to, it's not just given to you. You got to seek that. And then owning your time, taking control and feeling that personal agency of your life, your time, what's important and what is truth. And so then you get there, you start taking those steps. Maybe you're into Bitcoin for months to a year or two. But then like you're that guy in your community, your family, your town or whatever, like, oh, you're the Bitcoin guy. And if other people are getting orange pilled or interested, they start coming to you for, what about this? What about that? And you're kind of managing FUD and all the things. But some people they're ready and willing, they want to be told explicitly, like, so what do? I don't want to get too complicated. I can't go down the rabbit hole and I'm not going to know all the things. I'm busy. I got all these other things going on. I'm into Bitcoin too. What do I do? Expert. And so then a lot of Bitcoiners start going down that path of having to think about, okay, I did all these things and there's all these options, but I don't want to lay out all the options. Like, what does this person need? And you're getting your mind around that. And then you only have so much time to like provide white glove service to every friend you have.
Correct.
So you start to consolidate, like, what are the steps? And I don't want to wreck anybody. You don't want to get them. Grandma's got her seed phrase and is like, what do I
You don't
do with
need her
this?
to be running a node on the Tor network and
Grandma,
multi-sig setups, like
Grandma's got her seed phrase written down, and she's like, well, I
on the
just
back
keep
of
it
her
under the
recipe book.
mattress. And or yeah, I mean, Grandma's not going to run a node. So people have their different things, but you start to figure out as you have, what do you do? And I mean, I'm doing that now. I look at someone's situation. I have to think about a lot of things for them and what they want to do. You have made it super simple. So with my first sat journey, I mean, to be honest, I think next time I do a little, I can't help but kind of watch charts and the big long-term trend of things and what's going on in the economy. But I'll DCA, sure. But I think when it's like, okay, time to, like, I've got some dry powder and it's time to, like, make a move, and I'm going to, like, reevaluate my stacks and what I'm doing, where they're going, how do I secure this stuff? Even as I've done that many times, I'm going to take your journey here, the 6 phases. So getting the right hardware, doing step by step, just the right things. And so, like, connecting to your node, running a node, verifying on Sparrow, connecting to Bull Wallet. People have to do a test run, following a specific process. And until you've, like, done that all the way through and you see that it works. Now, if you follow it step by step, yeah, you're not going to screw up. But you do that test run and then you feel like, oh, okay, I deleted it and recovered it. Okay, I get it. I can do this now. Then you move in on your, like a large UTXO, or something more important to you. I'm going to do that myself next time I go. I've done it different ways. I might say that every time I've done that in a substantial way, I've done it a little differently every time. And every time I had to be careful with it and think it out. And I wasn't sure, like, what was necessarily best, even myself. So next time I'm going to do it following your steps, which I love. And
if you have any contributions or, like, suggestions or, like, things that you would perhaps do different, it's all open. I don't know if you have a GitHub account, but, like, it's super easy to set up, and you can just submit your an issue there and give feedback or a suggestion, or to any listeners, if looking at it, if you would change something, or if you want to fork it and do your own version, it's you're fully allowed to do it. That's what I love about with open source, that you don't have to ask for permissions. And, like, I'm kind of self-obsoleting my Become Unruggable by open sourcing this, but I realized, hey, like, at the end of the day, going back to, I'm not making this for money. Like, I just want to help people go into self-custody, and especially people in third world countries, they can't afford $1,000 mentorships, not just from mine, but, like, anyone. If you look at the prices, which a lot of these mentorships, they don't advertise the pricing because they are exuberant, but people don't realize that they're so expensive in the, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000. People are like, why are you paying so much money? It's for the time aspect, right? Because you're getting, one-on-one time with people that have been in the space for a decade, that've seen it all, that really give you this bespoke service for you. So I realized I can't really scale what I'm doing with Become Unruggable. That's why I did an open source one for the masses. And I didn't want to go down this pathway of doing a school community like a lot of people do, and charging $50 because frankly, I don't even want to deal with Stripe. Like, if I, like, everything, even the mentorships that I do, everything is paid in BTC. And if someone doesn't know how to do it, that's the first thing we do on the first session call. I teach them how to actually pay an invoice on BTC Pay Server, and actually make a payment before they even get started with self-custody. Because not that I don't like taxes, and I don't think that's right, but it's just I'd be hypocritical to be teaching people about hard money and accepting dirty fiat for my service. So the same thing with school. You can't integrate, at least for now, you can't integrate Bitcoin payments, especially on a subscription basis, right? Because how are you going to do it? Like, you'd have to get people to pay it. And I was like, forget doing this walled garden and just dealing with another platform with school and everything, I said, forget it. I'm just gonna vibe code my stuff, put it on my repo on GitHub, and just share it with the people. And I think I'm going to be doing more and more stuff. And that's what I like. What a time to be alive, Fritz. Like, this is what I want to bring up. So just to touch upon a little bit on AI, because people seem to be two-sided. It's either people are like, oh my God, like AI is going to change everything and everybody's going to be without a job. And the other side, people are like, no, AI is just slop. Like it's a fad. It's going to go away. I'm in this like Switzerland, like middle camp, like not swinging one or the other way. It's more of like, I see AI, and especially to people, like, I'm speaking from my experience. I don't know how other people's experience is, but like suddenly with AI, I feel like I have like 10 extra hands and I have 3 extra heads, and I can just compute. Like, my computing power has increased so much. Not that I tell Claude, just do this for me, but I get it to give me extra like boost. It's like my nitrous to like deliver things, and even wild things that I never thought I could develop. Like this, as an example, this first set. If you'd asked me 5 years ago, would I create something like that? I'd be like, no way. Like, I'd have to go get, some junior dev. I'd have to get a designer. I'd have to spend a lot of money. I'd have to worry about hosting, and it would take a lot of time again, right? Now, in a space of 2 hours, with like zero coding knowledge. I mean, I'm starting to learn coding through Claude. But it's just like, you're so accessible. And what, for a $20 monthly subscription, which is essentially peanuts in today's inflation world, like, go to Starbucks, get a coffee. It's going to cost you like $15, right? So you're paying $20 for Claude Pro, and you can essentially create all of this in like just one evening. Instead of you sitting down to binge Netflix and chill, you can essentially vibe code any idea you have and just build on top of it. And it's up to you how far you want to take it. Like, if I wanted to, and if I wouldn't be working at Bull Bitcoin, I would think maybe, a long-term plan, or like apply for a grant so I can fund it and actually make something huge out of it and make, apps on iOS and Android. But at the moment, like, I don't want to take it that far. I want to just keep on building on it slowly. As you can see, there was the last commit, which was earlier today. I was adding some stuff. But anyways, whenever I have some spare time, just slowly work on it. Share it with people that really need it, and give something back to the people for free, not asking for anything. And essentially, my thinking of this long term is, if people will find value in it and they move their Bitcoin into self-custody, then they'll be like, but now like my stack is substantial. Maybe I'll go back to this Gigi guy and go to the Become Unruggable route and get his support on actually maybe is multisig a good option for me? I have no idea. Like, ChatGPT or Claude's not going to tell you that. It's just feeding you of bases of information that it's learned, but it doesn't know your personal case, your journey, and best experiences. That's where the mentors such as myself and other ones come in, where we evaluate, do you even need multisig? There's some people that are saying you definitely need that multisig setup. There's other people, which is, I would put myself in that camp. Like, it's really, in most cases, not necessary. And you will actually be rugging yourself, because if you have multiple wallets and you lose one of them with the seed, and then you lose the second one, if you have 2 out of 3 multisig, you essentially rugged yourself. Like, there's no way of you retrieving it. So there's many different scenarios, and this is where it steps in. So, or as we said, running a node. Maybe some people, want to take broadcasting transactions privacy serious, and they want to broadcast them through their own node. How do I do it? There's a lot of tutorials out there, but then also some people, going back, we're circling fully back to time here. People that are busy don't want to spend hours on YouTube, on Reddit, on Bitcoin Talk, and then troubleshooting, and something doesn't work and they give up on it, and then they go over the weekend and it's not working, and they're like, oh, frustrating. Or you can just come to Gigi or someone else if you prefer, and in a matter of 1-2 calls, you have everything set up, optimized to your preference use case, and you're good to go. So like, you're saving a lot of time, you're saving a lot on mistakes, and essentially, I don't have that time to be mentoring all day, every day people, Exactly. Like, as I said, I value my time. I want to be dedicating it to what I want to do. I want to help people, but I can't help everyone. And I never want to Become Unruggable to be another advisory with like 20, 50 advisors, because that loses the gist of it, right? Like, at the end of the day, I created Become Unruggable so people that listen to me and value my insights can have a direct contact with me. And once you go through Become Unruggable journey, it's not like, okay, you paid for the 4-session course and now you're done. People every day, you know, like still reach out to me. We essentially become friends for life. You know, they have my Proton email, and even if we have a follow-up thing, I don't have this, oh, pay me $250 or $300 an hour, please, for extra help. Like, no, like you invested serious money into it, investment into yourself. And from then on, you know, you have a friend for life. And I would rather help out people that trusted me and you know, invested into me in the early days to give them this kind of lifetime support. I don't know how it's going to be in the future, but like at the end of the day, it's giving value to people and, you know, going above and beyond with what you offer.
Yeah, and you're careful and selective. Like you only take on, say, 3 clients a month or
Tops.
whatever. So
Yeah.
So
it's very personal and one-to-one.
Yeah. So for the time that you have and clients that, you know, it's worth it to them to get that, you know, good direct one-on-one service. You are dedicating that time and relationship with them to make sure they're solid. And like you said, it's the rapport and the relationship there that you establish. It's you're delivering high quality service to a select number that really need it and want it. And it values your time, it values their quality, value for value, and gets them lined out perfectly. And then anyone,
just to jump in, I wanted to bring up one thing that came to mind. And I think as we move forward in this AI and everything's optimized and bots and everything, people will pay a lot more money to have actual physical human interaction, guidance, and rapport. I think just generally I don't know where we're going with this AI, and is AGI going to become a thing in the near future? And we're going to have robots everywhere walking about, bringing you Uber Eats and everything. But generally, I think people will be willing to spend more on experiences. May that be getting mentorship on how to securely and properly, you know, secure your stack. May that be for wellness retreats. May that be for general, whatever other experiences come around. I think experiences industries is gonna boom in the age of AI, which nobody is really focusing on. So maybe one free tip to the people and listeners: if you don't know what to do in the future with this whole AI acceleration, focus on giving some type of experience on something that you're passionate about, that you can build a community about. If you're not a Bitcoiner, there's no point of you starting a Bitcoin community, because that's the thing, right? It's if you're into yoga, if you're into tennis, if you're into singing, I don't know, like whatever it is, like these, and especially if you do them niche, you can charge a lot more because you're very selective. Like I don't actually, I'm very decent with what I don't publicly state. Like if anyone's interested, go to Be Unruggable, fill out the form, and you'll see what I charge. But it's lower than everyone else, but it's still it's expensive. And I think with time, as more and more people will be applying, that the prices will also go up, because I want to keep a cap of 3 people per month. That's it, because I don't want to be overworking myself to make double the amount of money this month, but then I'm like having sleepless nights and I can't spend time with my kids and my wife. Like,
totally.
So the same thing is if you want to do something with experiences, like if you're doing it more niche, you can actually get a much better value product to the end user. If it's a smaller group, it's more personalized, it's more catered, but you also charge more because it's a premium, right? Not everybody can be a part of it. So just giving some free food for thought for people that are like, what could I build going forward?
And as Bitcoin integrates itself into traditional systems, finance, and grows and all that, it's not just about the market cap and the number go up or the number of wallets and the hash rate. It's all those things, but it's culturally, it's a huge educational movement. People get into it for different motivations, different reasons, but like I did, like probably you did, it's like you start somewhere and then you're looking for that mentor or that clear signal in the processes. People don't know where to start. There's a huge demand out there for people that say they're all into Bitcoin, but they're still learning. They're still like at some level.
We all are. Everybody's learning. Gigi's learning. Everybody. I mean, Adam Back is learning. Like the guy that has been quoted by Satoshi is still learning. Whoever says they're not learning, they're on a dangerous downward slope of getting left behind, because there's like so many things change every day. You know, maybe not particularly on the fundamental protocol level, but still like we're learning new things, adapting, seeing what works, what doesn't. Oh, wow. Like I didn't realize I can put X and Y together to get this result. So it's a beautiful, never-ending journey of learning, which I love.
Yeah. Anyone who says like, "Oh yeah, I totally understand Bitcoin," it's like, I'll just probably say you probably don't. there's
Yeah, true.
there's another layer. There's another step. I mean, I don't know if I ever will. I don't think. I mean, it's a huge ecosystem.
It's a
And there's so
never-ending
many
rabbit
different.
hole. It's a
Yeah.
never and one thing just to bring up, like you mentioned, expert. Like one thing, like I really don't like being called a Bitcoin expert, because like, yeah, I've been in Bitcoin close to a decade, but like I'm far off an expert. Like as I said, like I'm learning new things every day, and it's just like this compound of knowledge. And whoever like sees themselves as the expert, especially in the Bitcoin space, it's like, whew, like be wary of this so-called expert, because like nobody's really an expert. Like there's so many things, and as we expand into sidechains and layer twos and this BIP introduction, that BIP, like I'm seeing OGs on X saying like, I have no idea what this BIP 110 is, and I don't give a shit, frankly. Like there's just so much of it that it's really hard to keep a pace of it. So yeah, you should always be on top of things and be willing to change. I think Bitcoin is a technology that makes you understand that you don't know everything, and some beliefs that you might have had for decades, or maybe even since you were born, are tested, and you should be willing to pivot and change your outlook, instead of having this ego boost of I know it all and it's my way or the highway. Like Bitcoin, if you really let loose to it and go with the flow, like it humbles you, because a lot of things you realize, and it's not just monetary stuff, like I mean about health, about nutrition, about mental well-being, about many things that we're taught this is the way it is, through studying Bitcoin. You're like, huh, and then you stumble upon this fact, and it's like, actually it's not like this. And then you stumble on this fact, and how general media was telling you it's all a scam, and you realize, holy shit, like everything apart from Bitcoin is a scam. Like whatever was taught to me in school or like on TV is basically just brainwashing for a corporation or a government with their own agenda, depending where you are in the world. So like Bitcoin is really this source of truth that really takes you back and really filters the noise out there, which is interesting. But it takes a long time and a lot of proof of work studying for you to understand that. You can't just... So I don't really like the term orange pill. It's not like you take this pill and then magically poof, like
I'm fixed. Yeah, right.
I like, you know what I like calling it, Fritz? I like calling it orange seeding. Like you plant the orange seed in someone's mind, and then it's down to the person to be watering that seed every day, every week, for the flower, for the stem to come out. And then, it goes and it turns into a trunk, and then it grows and it keeps growing, and you keep feeding it and watering, and then suddenly you have this bonsai tree with like so many branches. But if you don't do the initial feeding, like the initial work and studying, that seed's gonna die. Like, so that's why this orange pilling, it's a term which I think it's a little bit misleading. So that's my take on that.
Like it just flips a switch and then you're fixed. It's got to germinate. It takes time to germinate. And the way Bitcoin shifts your paradigm, because we're born into this fiat world, it's invisible to us. It's just the air we breathe, and you don't see any different. And then when you start to understand Bitcoin, it hits you really deeply at so many levels. Even I had to take time to like process a whole bunch of stuff around like everything I ever thought I knew, history and the future, and then the system in between, and the everything. And so people have to stick on the journey and take time with it. But I just think that what you're building here helps encourage that. And then I feel like if you are a dev or a coder, if they go to your GitHub, go into that, so you can check it out, and you're welcoming contributions. You can fork the repo, create a branch, make changes, push and open a pull request.
And or just submit simple issues. Even if you're a non-dev and you would like to see something, you can just go to the issues tab on the top and just submit an issue. Like you see in the second tab, right there, you have issues, and then you can choose what issue you want to do, suggestion, or if there's a bug or if something's not working on your end. And I just want to give it out to the community to build on this together. This is not like Gigi's little baby, and like I'm just showing it to the people, but don't touch it. Like I'm really trying to push and encourage. And it's only been like I think, has it been a week? I don't know if it's been a week. Yeah, it's been last week. So yeah, last week. It was, when was this posted?
Giacomo posted on March 10th, and then
March
like
10th,
it looked like the next
so
day.
Next day, yeah. So 11.
You
so
had
it's like 8
you
days
had
ago.
this. You used Claude to build this with vibe coding with Claude.
If you go back to the GitHub page, you'll see the contributors on the right hand side. So if you scroll a little bit down, you'll see, there you go, Sovereign Gigi. That's my own GitHub account, and then you see Claude. The two contributors that made it happen, right?
Awesome.
So,
thank you, Claude. With with AI as well. I mean, so it's like AI's here. It's not going away. It's this huge tool. It's a double-edged sword, because you see people get it out of hand, or it's disrupting things, markets, and people get wrecked with it or whatever. But it's here to stay. So you either people generally, like with Bitcoin, adoption's got to happen, and instead of like ignoring it or avoiding it and getting left behind, if you will, or like if you're not using it as a tool, then you can be stuck with, well, what's left? You're either working, your AI is either working for you, or maybe someday you're going to be working.
Or you're working for AI.
Yeah, so there's that kind of a thing. So it's sort of like Bitcoin's going to change the system, and you can either control and own your Bitcoin, or you're just participating in a system that owns your Bitcoin for you, or operates, without you. It's like, it's a pivot point. But I see it, like you mentioned, it's a huge opportunity where you start learning about it now, you get in now, you start maybe not crazy with it all, but you start somewhere.
Baby steps.
Yeah. You take that next step, and then you can manage it or navigate it. So down the road, if jobs are changing or whatever, they still need people to manage the AI, or manage your Bitcoin, and not be relying on just trusted third parties who run the entire game. And meanwhile, the broad system at large, I guess, to zoom out and look at the big picture in the future, what I see in the traditional system is long-standing, old guard legacy powers that be, powers that got theirs, have theirs, and by any means possible do not want to lose control, and want to force people back into the walled gardens, or have a cage around it, like, oh yeah, you can Bitcoin, but the on-ramps and off-ramps have to be like KYC or trusted, or all these things.
Regulated. I call them the regulators, right?
The regulators. So I see them, you see all these flagellations in the world where they're desperately trying to keep their power, or they reframe things around like freedom, but sort of with regulations. And ultimately, the tech allows you to be sovereign. And so I see the powers that be struggle with that, adopting it kind of, or there's talk about it, but ultimately I think they're desperately trying to figure out how they don't entirely bend the knee. And so you hear all kinds of, whether it's FUD or propaganda or things about it, and they'll attack you emotionally with safety or fear, or keep you focused on other stuff. Now we have war and all these things,
which we've been having for like ever since we've been reading history books. Like there's always been these wars, like forever, which are just a big distraction.
Yeah, it's like, this is nothing
new.
Same
movie, different actors, right?
Yeah, it's the latest iteration of the same old song. And so
you know how like Disney has the same cartoons with like different I mean, like different times. It's like the same thing with the wars, right? Like it's the same spiel, just different flag, different flavor of weapons. And
but back in the 1989, 1990s, like we popped Panama and then we went right into Iraq. And now it's like we popped Venezuela and now we're right into Iran. And it's like, I'm having deja vu with all this. What's the message to me? It's not like, well, what side are you on? Like left or right, red or blue? Are you for or against like which nation and all these things? It's like, I'm calling bullshit on the entire thing. It's the old
whole
game.
Game's a sham, not the
players. It's the competitive resource capture game by these big old players that have fog of war games going on behind the scenes that you almost just don't want to know or can never completely understand, other than the fact that they don't want to lose their control and they're fighting for who's top dog in the geostrategic space. And
Mm.
I'm just like, walk away from all of that. Bitcoin allows you to do that. AI can allow you to do that. And so it's an escape hatch. And so instead of getting caught up in the drama of, not that it's not important because shit's happening, but man, if COVID was a wake up call for a lot of people. So when you
Oh,
talk
yes.
about the buckets of people in Bitcoin, for me, it was a
Definitely.
COVID thing, similar to you, but my daughter was born in the midst of COVID. I had a little time on my hands. I'm seeing the money printed, and in America, we're getting like these stimulus checks. And I'm just going, what the hell is going on here? And I really stopped and took a month to think about it. And that's when I,
Went deep.
had my first Bitcoin seed, and it
Nice.
germinated. Was thinking about it in 2019, but 2020 hit me. I'm like, yeah, I'm done. I'm done. I'm out of this. And so I started Bitcoin hard. Um, More and more people are waking up, I think. And the established systems are struggling to remain relevant. I have hope for a golden future. Not that there won't be like ruptures and a lot of change. And Bitcoin has
Mm.
changed the fundamental rules, so is forcing a change in that game. But fiat, as it continues to, get spent on every missile flown or every bailout made or all the fraud, waste, and abuse, fiat's on a death spiral,
Yeah.
and you see it gliding down into this death spiral. And so as that occurs, they're struggling to remain relevant. As they print the money, it's going to become more and more obvious, I think. A lot of people are just going to see it as, oh, prices are up. Oh, I need a bigger salary, and they're chasing that fiat dollar. It gets easier to plant those seeds and have them germinate, because you're like, this whole system is a rigged game and it's slanted against you.
And
So
it's going to crash one day. I don't know
it's
when it's
going to
going to be,
crash.
in
It's
a year or 5 years or in 50 years or after we're gone. But like it's bound to crash. Like all fiat goes to zero.
it's
And
on
once
this.
the dollar goes to zero, that's when everything goes to zero, because that's like the big granddaddy scam of the world, like the world reserve currency that's backed by absolutely nothing. No gold, no oil, no nothing. So
Yeah. So is it
I
going to
agree.
hit, like, there's still like a minority of people that see Bitcoin as the general fix in a variety of ways. I think it's going to hit a lot of people when they start to see stuff come down, and they're going to see it as a political issue, but it's going to be like, okay, um, universal basic income or the CBDCs. And well, with
They're all
that, we
coming,
need,
unfortunately, like it or
yeah.
not. They're gonna. It's a project that's been, they've been working on that for like 2 decades now. It's not like
Oh,
something that
yeah.
happened two months ago. Like it's gonna
Yeah.
happen. They just don't know how to rule it out. But like, if I may jump in for, it's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
one thing I wanted to bring up what you said, and I agree. Unfortunately, I think the hard times are still here, and at least for the next midterm, may that be 5 to 10 years, it's going to be still very violent, very bloody globally. And I'm not just talking about the Middle East. Like, there is tectonic plates are shifting. There's a lot of things breaking. The
Yep.
elites are trying to grasp onto the last strings of power. Like, how can we hold this? Because my father, which was my role model, he always said, "Son, no empire lasts forever, right? The Roman
Uh-huh.
Empire never lasted forever. The Ottoman
Right.
Empire never lasted forever. This current American empire, which I call it Americanization,
Hmm.
not globalization. It's actually America calling the shots. It's Americanization, is slowly coming to the end of his days, and it's kind of just grasping here. Oh, let's swing into Venezuela, get Maduro, because he's a drug dealer, right? But like, nobody talks about like CIA, how they were, or like
Exactly.
or England, like the royal family with the Queen, that was like instrumental in the epidemic of opioids and trade for like
Yep.
decades. That's
Yep.
that's just business, guys. Look the other way, right? And now
Yep.
with the internet, it's like this Pandora's box that you can't close.
Hmm.
I see Bitcoin, I wouldn't say it's the next internet. I would say Bitcoin is finishing what the internet started. The internet opened up free, open resource to the whole world. Now you don't have to rely on going to a library, going to school to learn about facts. You can fact check everything on the internet,
Uh-huh.
at least Web 1.0 was one-way communication. You could go online and just see info. And then Web 2.0 was when you could interact and give your input as a user, right? And we got, messagings, and then this whole spiel of Web 3 and everything. But actually, like, Web 3 to me is like the integration of when Bitcoin was introduced. And thank you, Satoshi, for giving us an open source protocol that's free for everyone to join, where you can actually exchange value with anyone at any point in time, and nobody can restrict you, nobody can sanction you. It's essentially, it's the best money that we've ever had and ever will have. And if Bitcoin fails one day, where it's done, like, there is no we will redo Bitcoin, like, it's never going to happen again. I'm highly doubtful it will fail. I'm not I wouldn't say it can't fail. It still could, but it's like it's chances of that, like, probably bigger than a meteor wipes out Earth and Bitcoin fails, but it could essentially. But what I want to share, and where I'm leading with this, is that this American empire is coming to an end. But I think it's going to milk the shit out of it until it, like, this 39, just I was reading yesterday on X, someone posted that the national debt of US just crossed $39 trillion, which is like, if you just think of that for a second, it's ridiculous. But does it make a difference, Fritz, if it's 39 trillion or 50 trillion or 100 trillion, or what comes after a trillion?
Quadrillion?
I don't know. Whatever the metric is, like, does that change something for me? No, it doesn't. It's, once again, this sham and this whole drama, like politics. I think, like, politics is drama theater for the average Joe to be sidetracked with, oh my God, like, am I team blue? Am I team red? It doesn't matter what team you're on. You're sorry for, I don't know if it's a PJ podcast, but you're getting fucked either way, right? Like, it doesn't matter what side you're on. So then you have this option of, oh, let me revolt. Like, I don't like the system. And that doesn't get you really far. Like, in some cases, you end up in, if you're lucky, you end up in a jail cell for the rest of your life. Or if you're unlucky, like we've seen many prominent, and even JFK, you end up with a bullet in your head, and it's done. Or like, how many people stood against the establishment, and especially the military industrial complex. Oof, you got a short lifetime. Once you start speaking out, you're wiped off the chessboard. So that's not a goal. But then with Bitcoin, you have this option. And that's what I keep telling people that are like, Gigi, like, I'm unhappy with this. And I'm like, listen, this is the first time in history where you have an option to build in a parallel system, parallel road tracks. You don't have to go and protest and fight this near impossible machine that is self-destructing every day. But what you can do is put your time, effort, value, your resources into building something parallel, and essentially your own little ecosystem bubble with like-minded people that's slowly going to trickle. And that's what I've essentially been doing since for a year and a half now. Left the legacy fully market. Like, essentially, I exist here, but like, on paper, you're going to find very little of Gigi. As you already heard, I don't want to promote it too much, but like, I'm very not fond of taxes, because tax is an absolute theft. Like, if they can print whatever money they want, why should I be giving you 20%, 30%? Some countries you're paying 50% income tax, and then you're paying VAT on top, and then you're paying stupid taxes like road tax, and I'm paying house tax, and I'm paying this tax. And in the end, you paid like 75% of your income. And then when you sit down for a second, you're basically working 9 months of the year for someone else, for a government that you didn't elect, that you don't like, and you're in the center, and it's fucking madness. And like,
it's a humiliation ritual.
It's a humiliation ritual, and you have no time for nothing. And people don't have kids. So just to finish the rant, like, the people are not having kids because they can't afford it, because they need to work more, and then you get a second job, and you're getting screwed even more. And it's just like, oh my God, it's a never-ending cycle of misery. And once again, thank you, Satoshi, for giving us the Bitcoin protocol, where you literally put up the middle finger and say, fuck the system. I'm done. I'm building on my own. And the sooner you get involved in that system, the better you are. So to swing it back to AI, and I'll swing it back to you, Fritz. Getting started with AI today, and especially agentic AIs, like what I built with Claude Code, where you're not just asking it a question like people still use ChatGPT and Claude today, like Google asking it a question. You should be prompting it. You should be telling it to do something and then guiding it. Getting involved with agentic AI today is like discovering Bitcoin in 2011, like in the early days, And the sooner you get started, the better off you are. people, it's inevitable, will be using AI in the future, maybe without even them knowing. Like, it'll be ingrained in the devices, in the cell phones that we have, in the computers, in the TV. I mean, already now, when you look at Netflix, you're not choosing Jack all. It's an algorithm that's pushing stuff to you, and you're like, I like this one. Oh, great
Yeah.
suggestion. Next. You didn't even have to press a button. It plays for you. Like, it's
Right.
everywhere.
Yeah.
But now you have this moment where you can contribute and build something. And I think everybody is a creative person. We're just dumbed down by the education system that, no, there's creative people and there's like the dummies, and you go work as a barista. Nothing, sorry for any barista that's listening. I'm not trying to put you down, but like,
Yeah.
call it a mediocre job, whatever that is, gardener or flipping patties in a burger joint. I don't think anybody should be doing, like, robots can do that. Like, if they're building crazy cars, like Tesla has hardly any employees on the workspace. It's all robots. Or China. Let's not even go there. Like, they are like 50 years in the future. It's all robots. There's no reason a human should be wasting his precious time welding a piece day in and day out. They could be creating many different things, but we're just dumbed down that, no, this is the system. You know, you go to school, you get your shitty job, you work until you're 60, and then you retire, and then you have your golden age. But probably by then you have a bunch of cancers and a lot of diseases because, you know, we manufactured it, and then you're off, and then you're dead, and thank you, and that's game over. With AI, you can essentially build and be this creative composer of whatever it is. Maybe apart from a few things, like you can't be a surgeon and be vibe coding. Maybe in the future you will be. But for now, like, I mean, there's so many things, and I'm in this parallel with myself, with young kids. Like, do I want to push them down education and go down this whole route of learning stuff which is outdated, or literally just like let them invest into what they're interested? Like, if they want to build their own games and vibe code, why not? Like, go for it. And, you know, you never know what you're going to discover out of it. And I think the jobs of the future, things are going to change so fast. I don't want to scare anyone, but like, I think 5 years, nobody knows what it's going to be like. But I think if we look just like in 3 years, when ChatGPT came about in end of 2022, beginning of 2023, it was like this wow moment. Like, oh my God, like this AI, like you can ask it anything and it just pulls stuff for you. And then now with like Claude Code and OpenClaw and all these things that are happening so fast, where like you can spin up agents, like hundreds of agents. Don't get me wrong, I'm not telling everyone to do it, but it's just the capabilities and how fast tech is developing. Yeah, my God, like, I think automation and robotics, how advanced it is, like a lot of jobs will be cut down. And you can see this today, like even Block, right, with Jack Dorsey. Yeah, the pay rails are all, I mean, like, and it's going to carry on. Or like JP Morgan, like all these big companies, they're like slashing thousands of jobs because things can just be automated. And it makes sense. Like, if you're a greedy guy at the top, you want more cockbucks, right? And now if you have this beautiful tech, you know, that can do all for you 24/7 without complaints, without pay rises, without, you know, pregnancy leaves and whatever, like, why not? Like, we'll do it. So now is the time to be tinkering around, finding out what you like and learning every day, just like with Bitcoin. Like, keep on curious, be hungry. And here's the pinnacle of it. The AI that we have today, it's the worst it will ever be. Like, it gets better every day. Yeah. Yeah. So there's my rant on the future. Yeah. And when you have kids that are growing up and starting to like go to, say, time for public school, or they're older and it's, well, is it time for college? Kids are innately just curious and want to learn. And I mean, yeah, kids may just be seeking knowledge and education accessible right now. Granted, it's a lot on the screen, but they can, you know, grab a hold of that and run with it and play around and tinker. And I see it as a real opportunity. Granted, it's a huge change, but you know, my kids, I've got young ones and older ones, and they can go to school, and for certain certifications or degrees, like if you're going to be an engineer and you're going to be building bridges, yeah, there's people that need to learn how that stuff works. Yeah. But there's a whole bunch of curriculum areas and degrees you can get that are kind of like, well, okay, so you got a piece of paper, but what value is that in this new world anymore? Like, you got certified in an area and then you're going to go work somewhere that, and what guarantees? We do something completely different. And do you know how to manage AI or use AI or you know, so you want to have those skills. And yeah, you may not be getting it in school. And so seeking it out on the side for yourself to be ahead of the game.
Thinking of taxes again too, like it's tax season in America. And so as we pay our taxes, you mentioned things about that. As I go through that process myself, I stop and think about where that money goes. And it's like, okay,
Mm.
carve out half of it simply to pay the interest on whatever ridiculous debt it is. The other big chunk to war, another chunk to the fraud, waste, and abuse. And and then, okay, you can say Medicare and Social Security, like, okay, but my goodness, they're out of the money. They're going to print as much of that again as, and more, just to keep things solvent, to keep their game up. But you start to realize when you pay your taxes, like, oh, where's this money going? And I want out of this. And so Bitcoin. And so then, yeah, Satoshi gave us this gift. It was like the birth of fire, the birth of the
Mm.
wheel, the printing press, the internet. What internet did for communication, Bitcoin does for money and people's sovereignty with their property. And then now with AI, it's like whatever capability you can imagine, AI opens the door for just whatever. And when Bitcoin was early, I mean, if Satoshi hadn't have been so careful with his operational security and anonymity, pseudonymous approach, he would have been unalived. I think he would have been attacked.
It would have been wiped out very fast.
The system would have gone after him, and who knows what. He would have disappeared for other reasons, and Bitcoin may not have gotten off the ground. Now that the cat's out of the bag, the fix is in. Now, granted, I'd like Bitcoin to be more decentralized and secure. It's the biggest, most secure decentralized network we have for this thing.
It's the biggest computer in the world. Do you know that?
Yep. It's the biggest protocol running. Yep.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
TikTok
so it's really
block.
good. So then I face a little FUD from family where I had a family member thinking through, what's wrong with Bitcoin, or what's the risk and the vulnerability. And it was like, well, so what if all the power went out? And I'm like, if all the power goes out, for one, like for how long? And then what kind of a world are you talking about there? Are you even thinking about any
drop
money?
from the sky, right? Like if the power goes out, there's much bigger problems and instant death of like hundreds of thousands of people.
We have so many
than your
problems.
Bitcoin notes going out.
Yeah, not even like, oh, well, geez, if only we had a gold standard. No, we'd probably be on like a lead standard of like, how do you even live on a planet with other gangs, And so that's a different picture. But so say, okay, power goes out. At what point does the power come back on and we're going to rebuild? Okay, so power comes back on. Is your bank open? And does your dollar that they had in their bank exist? And if so, what does that world look like? Meanwhile, power comes back on. Well, Bitcoin's still a Bitcoin. The fun.
And the notes. Sorry for interrupting. Like if for example, if you run your own, anyone that knows, when you have a power cut at home, or if it unplugs, it stops. But as soon as you plug it in, it just auto syncs. It goes back to the last block it's verified, and it just carries on verifying them. So it's a much easier reset than banking system if everything goes out, right?
Oh, dude. Yeah. If the power went out and was out for a little while and then came back on, imagine the banking system trying to recover from that and like sort whatever ledger they have.
Recalibrate all of their
It would be their not letting any good emergency go to waste. It would be a reboot, not in your favor. It'd be like, oh, we got money back and now we have the dollar 2.0. And we fixed things, and now you're completely legible and controlled. Bitcoin,
Fritz, what if that happens? What if that is the plan for a great reset? A global
So here's my theories. So here's what's interesting is that even just a few days before I think Venezuela had happened, but Iran hadn't yet. And I was talking to somebody, as I do. Many people have had this idea, but sort of like, in my mind, there are like emergency plans on the shelf, and there are also directions of agenda that powers that be would like to go sort of like having talked about it for decades, they just couldn't quite get it by, except with every little emergency, they get a little more traction,
Closer, yeah, yeah.
and like, oh, it's for your safety, it's for terrorism, it's for reasons, it's for COVID,
Kids
whatever.
protection.
So it creeps its way in. So there are plans on the shelf, emergency plans on the shelf. It's like, well, if this and that happens, problem, reaction, solution. Like, oh, problem. Oh, okay. Everyone has to react to that, and we all feel scared, right, or whatever. And now here, government swoops in with a solution, like ready in hand, another solution. So we were talking about that, and it was like, there's going to be some pop off, some emergency is going to happen here. Like, it's just tensions high, and it's just spring loaded for something. Lo and behold, we have Iran, and now there's reasons for things, kind of maybe like whatever. In my mind, there are the craziest, most outlandish thing. Like we had 9/11 and the Great Financial Crisis, and then COVID, and then now perpetual war for perpetual peace. And like, what's next? As they play these hands, I could see things like, some terrorist attack or other reason, power goes out for a while, or UFOs, or whatever. I mean, it sounds crazy, but I wouldn't hold it past people in charge to not let any good emergency go to waste, or, pray for it, because it's an opportunity then to say, well, in times of shock and fear, and everybody's like, government, save us. And here they are with the solution that they've been working on for decades. So I see it. I mean, I don't know what it'll be. We have war right now, but there will always be like another emergency. With Bitcoin, I can step back and just be like, my trust in you is broken, and I'm not playing that game.
Obsolete.
Yeah, I'll make you obsolete. I'm making you obsolete, and it's not. There is no red, there is no blue. There is the state, and there are you. It's the extractive state theory of money. So that's my rant.
And I totally agree with everything you said, Fritz. Just to add to it, I think there's a reason Bitcoin is so not widely still adopted, 16 going into 17 years later since the protocol, came to be, is because the powers have been suppressing it very hard. And this whole shambles of, the Trump administration coming out and saying, and I even fell for it, thinking, oh, US is going to build a strategic Bitcoin reserve. That's fantastic. The government's accepted of it, and it's going to pump our bag. So like the purchasing power is going to go up. So maybe I can take one consultation a quarter, instead of 2 or 3 a month. But right. Jokes aside, I think the elites realize that Bitcoin is really the end game. Like, if people adopt it, like, nobody plays by the rules anymore, because they can't control it. They can manipulate it. And I think now with price, what we're seeing, the fact that for a year, essentially, Bitcoin became this stable coin. Well, now it's lost half of its value in 6 months. But essentially, for a long time, it's like, it's not going anywhere. But we're seeing strategy buy 20,000 Bitcoin every Monday. And like,
right.
And this country bought this much, and this and this. And it's like, but the price is not moving. It's like, guys, like, is this paper Bitcoin? Is this like multi-market manipulation? Like, what is it? Like, I think there's definitely manipulation, because if you look at these big banks, and especially like companies like BlackRock that has a share of nearly every big company, they suddenly bought all this Bitcoin, and we didn't go into, as Samson Mouse said, the Godzilla, the God candles with like 100K, 200, 300K. We topped out at 125. I think there's like a lot of suppression and trying to hold it down and sway people away from it. Because if people really get it and really say, I'm going to live on a Bitcoin standard. I've been living on a Bitcoin standard now for a while, even during my fiat job. Like, everything was a Bitcoin. Like, I went fiat standard, I left the fiat standard and went to a Bitcoin standard probably not long after my first child was born. So 2001. So it's been close to like half a decade now.
Yeah.
Long time. It's not that I have a ridiculous stack. Please don't retro attack me, because I live off my Bitcoin. But like, it revalued my spending habits. Like, I hardly spend on things that is just nice to have. It's like, and I value everything in sats now, which is amazing. Like, no matter where I'm in the world, I'm like, oof, like, is this thing really worth 150,000 sats? Like, I'll probably pass on it. And I'm even ingraining that into my young kids, which
Mm-hmm.
are like they're very young, they're kindergarten age, and they're already like learning. They know what Bitcoin is, the hardest money and everything, and they know what sats are, and like they're like I'm maybe grooming is not the right word, but like I'm setting them up in the
You're
right way
educating
to
them,
be
yeah.
thinking about. I'm really educating, guiding them. They have GG Become Unruggable 24/7, like really filtering in the ideology and like how to make value and appreciate everything, and not just be in this spending consumerism mind. Just spend new iPhone. I need to get the latest one because
Right.
it's just new. So it's I lost my train of thought with the kids. I wanted to
You're going to
say
a fiat standard for like
fiat standard, correct? Yeah, and going back to CBDCs, what you mentioned, that there's going to be this reset, and they're going to bring in this dollar 2.0 or CBDC or whatever it is. And I think at that point, that's the inflection point where you're hit with a decision straight into your head. Do you go down the slaving path of having full control over your money, or you go down the Bitcoin route where you fully decouple and even forget the fiat value? Like one Bitcoin, as you mentioned, is always going to be one Bitcoin. And that's what I keep telling people. Like, don't, like, Bitcoin is not volatile. Fiat is volatile because fiat gets printed and manipulated in whatever ways they want. But like Bitcoin is the end point of value determination, to me at least, when you have everything in a Bitcoin. So yeah, it's not nice when the value in fiat drops by 50%, but still, like, if you are reasonable and you spend less than you earn every month, even in a bear market where now we're like 50% lower than we were 6 months ago, yeah, things are more expensive to me on a SAT standard, but still I'm way better off than if I would have never touched Bitcoin and just stuck $2. I'd have probably blown through all of them long time ago, had near no savings like most people around the world don't have. And it would just be literally survival game. When is my next paycheck so I can pay the debt that I have? And that's not a life I want to live or teach my kids to live. It's really saving for the future, but at the same time, this paradox that we got talking before we went live of valuing the moment, because you never know when you or the world, the lights go out and it's done, and you don't want to be waiting for too long. So it's really a balance, finding, enjoying every day, but at the same time, saving for the future. And in case shit hits the fan, you can pack up and bounce. And that's what Bitcoin standard gives you. I moved 3 years ago, close to 3 years ago now, out of Europe because it was just getting too bureaucratic, too chaotic, too expensive, it wasn't worth the money. Like, if something's expensive, I don't mind paying for it, but I want good value, good service, good product out of it. But if I'm paying exuberant prices and I'm like getting hardly any value out of it, or I'm just getting ripped off, screw that. Like, I don't want to play that game. And on Bitcoin, it's super easy. You pack up your bags, you have your 12 words in your mind or encrypted somewhere or on a seed signer, MicroSeed on a little washer, disguised anywhere. Even, to pump up a little bit MicroSeed, you can have it on a nylon washer, which is not even metal detected, crossing the border. You can have it in the sole of your shoe and nobody's even going to detect it. Like, come on, like, that's powerful technology. And with open source and AI and local models, which are currently dumb, but they're improving much, much faster. You in the future won't even have to rely on subscriptions of Claude, ChatGPT, whatever other companies spin up. NVIDIA is going hard now on AI. You could do things locally in a sovereign way. So, man, you have sovereign agents, you have sovereign money, you have sovereign communications through Nostr. Nostr, we didn't talk much, but maybe we'll leave that for future. Maybe I can come back in the future because I'm really bullish on Nostr. And I think the year 2026 is the year of Nostr, because a lot of things have been building and the use case is there. And so many things to build in. So then you also own the data that you put out, because now you have no idea, even like on X, like, I don't know how you like it. I mean, how your experience in X for its, or I mean, I'm talking X because I don't use Instagram or TikTok and all of those, but like X is like my last mainstream social media that I use, and I have no idea, is this a deep fake? Is it not? It's just noise. It's just all chaos and bombings and it's like, holy shit, guys, like, I never liked this stuff. Like, why are you feeding me this crap? And then I go to Primal or whatever client you're using on Nostr, And it's like, whew, you're like in a Zen garden. You're like, people are collaborating, people are exchanging ideas. You're providing value to each other. Like there is no like crazy manipulation of fear and uncertainty and this. So like I'm really bullish on Noster, and that's something. So with those three things, having your own data, having your own money, and having owning your thoughts. Like I think that's also a future thing that people don't realize. Now in social media, your thoughts are co-opted by the scroll epidemic, where you're just sitting and scrolling and scrolling and binging and feeding this algorithm, and you get nothing out of it. And in some cases, you're even paying for it, because if you want that blue tick on X, right, or if you want the premium, whatever the fuck it's called, premium X thingy, you get $200 a year. It's like, holy shit, like, you're paying to waste yourself and get brainwashed. Like, talk about who's the idiot in that equation. I might get some bollocking. I have a blue tick. I needed the blue tick because I needed to actually verify that I'm a legit guy, because I offer some value. But to be honest, am I going to carry on with that? Very questionable. I'm like, I'm very close to next year just pulling the plug on X as well, and just going full sovereign data. You want to reach out to me on social? Go on Noster, Primal, Iris, Amethyst, whatever you use, device, and just keep it there. Like that's my thought on where we're going.
Yeah, I didn't even think of Noster at the moment, but you mentioned it. Noster being the protocol where it can be any kind
you
of
own your data.
Yeah, you own your data. It's the public-private key interaction, the anonymity and security with the keys. You can find Gigi on Primal on Noster, anywhere you do it. Simply, you can type in Gigi and you'll find Gigi here on Noster.
You can type in @Gigi on any client, like, because this is the perks of being early. You can get like a username with 2 letters, and you don't even pay for it, right? So like, I like, there's the OG, their Gigi, the GIGI, who's one of my role models. And then when I got started doing my stuff publicly, I got a lot of slack with, oh, we already have a Gigi. I was like, yeah, but it's like saying, hey, my name's Alex. Oh, we have another Alex.
Yeah.
At least I don't have the eyes. There's
a reason why.
GI, yeah, but mine's just GG. There's no eyes. It's just 2 G's.
And Noster allows,
that's unimportant.
Yeah, it's awesome to be able to find you so easily everywhere. GG. And Noster allows, notes and other stuff transmitted by relays. There
Everything.
are, on
music, video, anything. Like it's not just like, people think of Noster as like a Twitter clone, like decentralized Twitter, but like for example, there's what's it called? Zapstream. Have you heard of Zapstream?
Yep.
Yeah. So like it's essentially, it's like a clone of Twitch, or even like YouTube Live, that were or essentially you can build anything. It's an open protocol to someone that's still kind of scratching their head. What is Noster? It's basically, as you said, the notes and other things transmitted over relays. It's an open protocol that's secured by 2 keys. You have a private key, which you can find yourself, people can find you, and you have your secret, your NSEC, your private key, like in Bitcoin, your seed phrase. So if you lose your NSEC, that's like losing your seed phrase. Someone gets access to it, and essentially you've been rugged, right? It's a double-edged sword, because on Noster you cannot delete the stuff that you post, which is powerful. It's like a Bitcoin transactions. Once you broadcast your UTXO, there's no pulling it back, or I want to charge back. It's done. Like it's gone to the wallet. And if you mistype the wallet, not that we type them anymore, but like if you did a mistake, that's it. Thank you for your donation to the network. Like it's gone forever. So with Noster, like when you post stuff, have a double think before you post it, because that's going to live on there on people's servers known as relays forever, right? So it's not like, ooh, like that was a shitty tweet, like I was wasted after a night out, let me go and delete it. There's no delete. On Primal, you can actually Primal or Amethyst, one of the two, I think you have an option to remove your note, but it only removes it from that client. If you go to another client, you can still see what you posted. So, but that's the source of truth, right? Like it really holds you by your words. which goes back to what we said in the beginning, like kind of Bitcoin is this source of truth. And one thing with Bitcoin, and not to for people to take me wrong with inscriptions, but like timestamping long before ordinals and the whole spam stuff that we have. And honestly, that's not something I want to go into. There's already been enough said. I'll just say, like, I'm anti-spam.
I have
like,
very
it's a
strong
monetary system.
opinions. Yeah, I have very strong opinions about it. I have Satoshi's white paper here.
I think
about what would Satoshi do? Satoshi had opinions about these things. So even as I have very strong opinions, people are like, yeah, but which node? I'm like, okay, do your own research. Just run a node. You can do you, but I have personal opinions, but I'll leave it at that.
So I respect that. So what I was going with, like inscribing, like what Peter Todd did, like, I don't know how many years now, 7-8 years, like the timestamps that he created, where you can actually ingrain information hash it into the transaction, where you can actually, first time ever in history, talking about source of truth, you can validate something that is what whoever imprinted is the source of truth. If you look at history books, as the saying goes, history books were written by the winners, like largely. And the more I learned about Bitcoin, I realized, holy shit, like stuff that I was taught about history, like it was all a sham. Like for sure there was different events and different things, but it's, whatever empire wrote the book, that's how, they spun the story. But now going forward with Bitcoin, you can actually ingrain stuff that is in the time chain. Like Bitcoin also reinvented time. So going back to the time aspect, where everything is timed in blocks, like Bitcoin doesn't really have, that's the whole point of also Satoshi, right? He never mentioned Bitcoin as blockchain in the white paper that's behind your left shoulder. He talks about it. It's a time chain, right? Because as we say, every 10 minutes, TikTok, next block, average 10 minutes. It can be 2 minutes. It can be 40 minutes, like depending on the mining difficulty and different aspects that put it. But it's essentially, it's a self-managed clock that you can associate different world events. And that to me is just like, poof, like we have something that anyone can have access to. It's not like you need credentials, you need to be C-level to imprint something. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not here for spamming the shit out of the main chain and like what the ordinals, that was retarded, absolutely retarded. Sure. And it was just scammers trying to scam people like they always did, even if there would be no Bitcoin. Does that mean there would be no scammers? Absolutely not. Like there's scams happening left, right, and center. Irrelevant if Bitcoin is here. They're always going to be here. But for the scammers, it's like, oof, like Bitcoin and crypto, it's like they're drooling because people have no idea what they're doing in most cases. And it's like the easiest scam to basically scam people. So there's many factors in that to why we have what we had. But, going forward, focusing on what my point with this was that having a source of truth and an actual time that you can pinpoint and it stays forever. And with Nostr, you post a note and it stays forever as long as it's saved on the relays that you choose to. And you can even spin up your own relay, right? You don't even have to trust them, just like nodes. You can spin up your own node on any computer. You can even do a pruned node, which for those who don't know, a pruned node is not a full, you don't have to sync the whole blockchain 800 gigabytes, but you can do a section. It's like 5 to 10 gigabytes is the last like 10,000 blocks. And it just keeps renewing, and anyone has 5 to 10 gigabytes of internet memory on their computer. And you can just have your node. Literally, it's one command line in the terminal. Please don't get discouraged with the word terminal. 6 months ago, when someone told me, "Oh, run this through the terminal," I was like, "What the hell is a terminal?" Now, like I'm deep in my thing, but it just shows like proof of work. Like if you put a little bit every day into it, like you learn really fast. And if you're interested, so going back to the prune node, it's literally one. And if you don't know how to open your ChatGPT and ask it, it can even do it for you. If you go agentic, if you want to go full anonymous way. But it's man. There's so many things I want to say, and like my brain's getting slowly overdrive, but I'll close it in this, that what a time to be alive. We have so many capabilities in front of our fingertips, and not even fingertips, like voice, like you can speak to things and bring it into existence. You don't even have to type them. I don't know if you know, but I'm sure you heard about the OpenClaw and Stephen, what's his name? Stephen, everybody knows that. Stephen the Open Claw.
Yeah.
What's his name? Steimer something. He's got this. Anyways, let's just keep it with Stephen. When they asked him like, how do you command? So he also vibe coded OpenClaw, which is like the fastest growing open source protocol, essentially, or program, whatever you want to frame it, in the history of open source. Like Linux, like OpenClaw did in 2 weeks what took Linux operating system 30 years. Like, poof. And he vibe coded OpenClaw into existence in a matter of 6 months. Like
Peter Steinberger.
Steinberger, yeah. So Peter was actually early retired. Like for those that don't know, like he sold his company for like tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions, and he went into full like early retirement. And he was just, if you go to Peter's GitHub, he built like so many projects. I think OpenClaw was his 47th or like 50th open source project that he vibe coded, and he vibe coded it for himself. Just like going back to Bull Wallet, like Francis created Bull Wallet for himself, not with the thing to, oh, let me sell something to the people. And it just like exploded. Like, look at his repo. He's got 173 different projects, right? But if you go down, like, look at the current projects. So let's just scroll down on this homepage. Look at all those projects.
Yeah.
Look how much nobody mentioned Peter for these things, right?
Yeah.
And like,
he is prolific. Yeah.
And it takes one, and like he was doing something that he loved. He didn't have to do it for the money. This is where, like, to kind of sum up what we're talking in this conversation, is like just focusing on doing something that you love, and great things can happen of it. And now, I'm not saying everyone's going to be a Peter, but I'm saying like anything's possible. And like how fast, and with the agentic AI, he vibe coded OpenClaw to automate all of his stuff that he needed. And he just released it to the world, and just people just jumped on it. And now we see still most people have no idea. They're like, what is OpenClaw? Actually, I fell for debate as well. I have a Mac Mini right here on the table with OpenClaw to test it out and tamper with it. Like, it's not doing everything for me. And whoever's telling you on Twitter that it does everything for you is chatting BS. It does a lot of things, but it takes a lot of tampering, and it's definitely not a plug and play, but it's interesting. It's a novelty. It's something new. It's like reliving that ChatGPT moment in 2022 when it came out, when you're like, wow, like this stuff. But yeah, I mean, like there's so many things, going back to the general thought, which is what a time to be alive. You can build so many things. Like, it's essentially free as long as you have Wi-Fi. And even if you don't have Wi-Fi, go to like a coffee shop, get the cheapest thing, get a bottle of water for a buck, and just maybe they won't be happy, but like you'll have access to the internet, or like, and you can get internet anyway now. And with a crappy laptop, you don't need crazy machines. Yeah, like the Mac Mini, there's a reason, but I want to do more than, by the way, just OpenClaw. There's different side projects I want to do in it, which I want to separate from my main computer, because this is all very novel, new technology that can break, and I don't want to, install stuff on a computer where it has my personal data, my Bitcoin stuff, there's an isolated thing. And you can even do it for cheaper with the VPS, with a cloud system. But I'm a very diehard sovereign individual. Like, I don't trust giving not that I do sensitive information, but generally my personal information on someone else's cloud. Like, I'd rather I run my own server. So it's like, so many things are possible, and for people to be sitting down and be depressed, like, I don't blame them. If you watch a lot of TV and if you're in this scroll epidemic, like, it might seem a little bit miserable, but if you switch off the screens, go out, touch some grass, look into the sunshine, think of what you want to dedicate your time to while you're here, and your time is very short. And now you can build it without knowing 0 lines of code. Is just like, it's beautiful. And I think going forward, well, we also talked about how jobs will be hugely slashed, and it's already happening right now as we record this podcast. The future, I think, will be where people will be able, in majority of cases, if they're put, their dedication, their thoughts together, and proof of work, you can build so many businesses on your own and not depend on any boss, and work on your own terms, and wake up whenever you want to wake up. Finish your work day whenever you want to finish it, and not have to answer to anyone. And if you're in Bitcoin, you can say, well, I don't want to promote it, but fuck taxes and fuck regulations and fuck whatever anyone imposes on you. if I don't like it, I can just pack up my bags and I'm gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
And catch me if you can. But like, I'm not saying promoting illegal stuff here, but I'm just saying full freedom, sovereign living on your own terms while you're here for this short time.
Yeah, if where you live is becoming a statist dictatorship or whatever, you are free. You have personal agency, and you can
Vote with
just
your
go out
feet.
there. Yeah, yeah, you can just go out there and do stuff, and instead of voting harder, like walk away. Vote with your where you put your time and energy, which is your best, hardest property, which is Bitcoin. Vote with your Bitcoin. Vote with your feet. You can just go out there and do things, and then really quickly, I was gonna thinking of Noster. There's the
Mm.
Zap store, so there are clients being
Yeah.
built. Using Noster, so more and more apps are
Look at that,
being
over
built using.
3,000 apps. I remember when Zap Store, I use Zap Store on my Graphene. I have double phones. I have an iPhone and a de-Googled phone, Graphene, where I just install stuff from Zap Store. And when it launched, it had maybe a handful. Maybe it was 15, 20 apps. And it wasn't that long ago. It was maybe two and a half years ago. And we're already
Yeah.
3,000 and counting and just rolling out every day.
Yeah, people are building and building more and more on Zap Store and using Noster. So the roots are growing deeper and deeper throughout the entire system, and it cannot be stopped. And so when you think about the span of human history and all the stuff that people ground through and worked through and suffered under, and the empires and all the things. And here we are in this moment in time where it's like being here now, being engaged with a world that, yep, there's a lot of changes, there's ruptures and things happening. It's amazing to think about that we're here now at this moment in time in human history where so much is opening up to this. I would say the future of a golden era for humanity. That
100%.
I mean, there's going to be hard things going on. There's the human condition has, life is hard. I get it.
It is.
And
always has been, always will be.
Always has been. Always has been. And before, life was hard under regimes. And now life is going to have its challenges. Life can be hard, but with an era where, okay, so which way, Western pleb? You can go do things and escape statist fascist dictators.
Totalitarianism.
Escape the totalitarianism. You can just, and it's the most bloodless revolution there's ever been. So you don't have to fight it and try to fight harder. You can just walk away and join a better community. And as those communities are successful and grow, or you look at what's happening in El Salvador, and it'll happen elsewhere, and it's going to grow. What works is going to rise to the top. What is not working is going to become quite apparent, and people are going to start to see that as they see another option and go, huh, what used to be I don't really like change. I don't like risk. I don't want to have to think too hard. It's just going to become more apparent. And also they may need it, because as that flagellating, failed, desperate state trying to be relevant goes broke, and they're going to try to put down more and more controls and then be nanny and daddy to every little pleb out there, it's going to be fuck you. And I'm leaving. We're adults, and I'm leaving the house. And the door's open.
Yeah, 100%. There. One of my favorite memes is, do you know that meme when there's the plank of wood that's going over a cliff, and there's the politician on the cliff hanging, and then he's speaking, and there's one guy that's walking away. Yeah. It only takes, I think 5%. There was a saying, if 5% of people would revolt against the system would cripple. You don't need that 51%. It's an illusion that you need 51% attack. If 5% of the global population just says, fuck the system, I'm going my own way, it's game over. It'll cripple itself. So I'm very hopeful on people seeing the light and actually having the courage to pull through. I'm also a realist that as of recent, probably for the last 12 months, I've come to even be calm with the idea that I might even live my life to not see this Bitcoin hyper, Bitcoinization, and Bitcoin standard ever, because I think Bitcoin is way bigger than me and you. For instance, I potentially think it's going to be here for hundreds, if not a millennia, like 1,000-year
Yeah.
technology.
Yeah.
If we don't fuck it up, and I hope we won't. I hope there's guard angels that are working on, as you said earlier, it's highly centralized, especially the mining aspect. Yes, I understand that, but there's a lot of players involved, and things will change, and new technologies are rising. I'm very confident. We saw with the BitHax phenomena. Not that BitHax is going to fully decentralize it, but what's next?
Right there.
There you go. So mine stopped. My chip died. It's right there on the shelf as a trophy. But we're gonna come up with new novelties, new ways how to decentralize the network. And as long as we keep building, we keep sharing ideas, we really live the full ethos of open source, I'm bullish. And if I die without seeing the hyper Bitcoinization, which will probably happen, because this system, as I said, we don't know when it's gonna collapse. A year, 5-10 years, maybe another 100 years. You don't know. Like slicing the pizza into 1,000,000 pieces, you can keep on slicing away into infinity, right? Like I don't know. And the corrupt cabal is not just gonna give up if it can still grab onto something, and there's still meat on the bone. So I hope it ends sooner, but at the same time also, if it doesn't, at least I know I dedicated my time while I'm here to a good cause, left something behind for future generations, not just my kids, but future people that will look back and make benefits. So if I just improve the world a little bit better than what I entered it, my mission done is here. I don't, to be honest, give a shit about money, because my dad always said, you enter this world butt naked, you leave this world butt naked. You're not taking no Lambo, no villa to the next life. So just enjoy it. Don't be a dick. Try and help out people. And I also deep believer of law of attraction, right? If you're putting out good things into the universe, good things will come to you. If you're a dick, people will be a dick to you. So don't be surprised. Just try and give more than you receive. You will live a fulfilling life.
Yeah, when you've been in Bitcoin for a little while and you can imagine where things are going, I've had to reevaluate my own time preference, where I feel like I've been ready. I wish it would come sooner. Now, gradually, if it was huge and crazy, it could disrupt a lot of things and maybe, create other vulnerabilities. But I had a dream a few weeks ago, and I don't dream often, but I was grappling with my own kind of time preference. And in my dream, I hadn't thought of this consciously, but I woke up in the middle of the night having remembered this vivid dream that was just kind of weird and crazy, where basically the scenario was that hyper Bitcoinization just doesn't happen until I'm really, really old or gone. And it was a reflection on my time preference, where it's like my grandkids or great grandkids were sitting on Bitcoin and experiencing a new paradigm of the world, a kind of a golden age, the generational wealth of treasury that people were using and living in Bitcoin anymore, but not everyone was even fully aware of what that took, how they got there, why everything is just better. And my family, my group, my community was like doing well. And they had these vague ideas of how grandpa had back in the day stacked and worked and put in the time. And it was just kind of like almost like a story you have about your grandparents or great grandparents, where you have a sense of that, but you don't really fully understand it. You weren't there. You just heard stories. The dream was like I was gone, and my great grandkids were talking about great grandpa, who back in the day, 50 years ago, had done something in Bitcoin, and or had stacked, or maybe he was lucky, but he built this stuff, and they didn't entirely understand. But basically, they were just, there was that huge gratitude for grandpa, and it was sort of like what I realized when I woke up. I had to think about it for a while, but it's like if Bitcoin fiat world, if fiat just didn't go away quickly enough, and Bitcoin just ground away longer than like my ego wants, would I still do it? And it was like, yeah. It's, why am I doing this? Let's just say, oh, it's not validating immediately for my number go up this year, next year, in 10 years. why am I doing this anyway? I had to step back and look at my incentives on why we Bitcoin. And I realized even if a golden age doesn't happen until I'm like too old to really enjoy it, I'd still do it. This is why I do it. You know, it's
Yeah,
for the future. And it's not just me and me, oh, my Lambo when I die. No, it's a revolution and we're going to change the world. And I want to be part of fixing the entire world. And
100%.
it's happening. So anyway,
You
good.
want to just to add, you want
Yeah.
to be the player in the field. You don't want to just be the spectator eating popcorn watching the game, right? Like,
Don't
and
be an
whatever that
NPC.
is. And there's so many things, correct, and there's so many things you can do. And yeah, I totally agree. But like, I'm in Bitcoin. Like, even if we're going to a bear market for the next decade, it's not like I will give up on Bitcoin and walk away. To me, Bitcoin truly is sovereignty and freedom, and both of those things come at a cost. People think freedom is easy. Freedom is actually not easy. You need to put in a lot of work and a lot of faith and believe in yourself, and responsibility aspect of holding your 12 words. People say, oh, well, self-custody is not for everyone, and that's why people hold them on Coinbase. They hold on Coinbase because they're uneducated and they haven't been guided in the right path by mentors, by education, by the right thought process. Because at the end of the day, if you can't hold 12 seed words, or even 24 if you want to double, but guys, 12 is more than enough. It's so much entropy that no computer is going to crack it. 12 words, if you can't keep those safe, well, God help you, man. Like, there's so many more things, especially as a parent, that you need to do than on a whole 12 words safely in a few different places, geographically distributed. Like, come on, like, but it takes responsibility, and people are scared of that. So to kind of put a full circle where we started with self-custody, like, I understand that people are still preferring to hold it in custodial wallets because they're like, oh, but what if I lose it? Like, I'm responsible for that. And this system that we're trying to decouple away from is the one who made us so soft into giving away responsibility to third parties that they can hold stuff for us. And then it's like, oh, Bitcoin comes around. If you lose your 12 words, your Bitcoin's gone forever. Oh no, like, there's no way. So it's going to take a long time to conclude it. Yeah, I think also, Fritz, with your dream, I've also I'm fine with living my life without seeing the great things. There's also, to close it with the memes, there's another meme. It's like saying buying Bitcoin today, it's buying a block on Manhattan in 1887, right? Like, it feels a little bit like that. It took well over like 100 years to see the prices of that real estate go basically parabolic. Who knows? Maybe Bitcoin as well. It'll take 100 years, but doesn't matter. Like you, I'm here for the cause. I'm here to also know that I have full freedom and sovereignty, that if tomorrow this great war or whatever happens, or some trickery happens, I can just pack up with my family, bounce. I don't have to worry about assets and resources and confiscations and freezes. So yeah, that to me is worth more than any number go up. And the real number go up is what we do here with the podcast, with the education, with communities, with events. The real number, as my good friend Daniel Prince says, is getting people to join the network. Because once you join Bitcoin and you understand it, it's a one-way street. It's a revolving door that just goes in, doesn't go out. And that's the numbers go up that we need. People joining the network, not fiat pumping on your charts, which is irrelevant.
Yeah. Oh, I need number go up. You can build your online bookstore on the web as if it was 1995.
I need to buy low, sell high. I'm just here for the gains. But you will never buy the bottom, buy the top. If you're still thinking, where do I exit? Like, when do I pull out before the bear market? You, my friend, you still don't understand it. It's not about pulling out. Like, Bitcoin is the exit. You don't want to go back to fiat. Like, spend your Bitcoin. Like, I'm in no way. Also, maybe we'll leave this for another time. But I'm not a big proponent of Michael Saylor, and people might not agree with me. But this whole never sell your Bitcoin. Fuck off, never sell your Bitcoin. Bitcoin is money. It's not a fucking financial instrument that you pump, that you borrow money, or hold it on Coinbase accounts and Fidelity. You don't even hold your own keys, you dickwit. And then you tell people don't to spend it. And Bitcoin, man, I get really wound up. Because Bitcoin is money. Like, you should be spending it. Like, it's insane that we had an all-time high, 125K 6 months ago. And if you look at the mempool, it was like 1 sat per VByte to make a transaction. Nobody was, I think that was the first bull market and like 5 that we had so far, that we didn't have essentially crazy high fees on the network. And it's because of, you know, Papa Saint, Michael Saylor, I'll never sell you Bitcoin, rehypothecated and whatnot. It's just still insane. Not that I'm complaining. I love it that the fees are high, but even now, like, look at them. Oh my God, they're sub.
1 sat for the next block, 0.
There you go.
After,
There you go. Zeros.
Yeah, literally.
You need to spend Bitcoin.
Yeah, even as you stack and stay humble or ape in or whatever, you can spend and replace, believe it or not. You've got your checking account, you got your savings account, you know, Bitcoin is 100%. Money. So yeah.
And I've got another secret. You know what's another secret? Or earn it. Like,
earn it.
BTC Pay server is free to plug in. If you don't know how to do it, reach out to Gigi, visit unshameless plug, beunruggable.com. I help people that have e-commerce stores set up a BTC Pay server. It's actually super simple. Connect it to your cold storage and done. Like, accept Lightning or on-chain. And then even if you want to flip it to stable coin, that's your own business. You can even do that with a few clicks without asking, no regulation, no KYC, no nothing. It's actually the best way is to offer a service or a product for Bitcoin. And you're essentially just exchanging your valued time and effort for the scarcest resource that we've ever had. And then that you can spend however you want. Of course, you want to save some of it, but spend some of it. You can donate some of it if you want to, you know, support open source. Open source doesn't support itself, right? That's why we have the open sats, the HRF. You know, we have like big institutions, but also there's, you know, average people that donate to projects that, like, you know, if you're using Sparrow and you really like Sparrow, well, put your money where your mouth is. Go and donate to Craig, you know, because like Craig is the only one maintaining Sparrow. But that's what makes it special as well, right? Like, and you know, to also finish it off, bringing it back to Bull Bitcoin, with the Bull wallet, so many people around the world, from LATAM to everywhere, they're like, they loved what we built, and it's all, we gave it to people for free. And they're like, how do we donate to you, you know? Like, and the way how you can donate it, just share it with other people. And if you're in a region that Bull Bitcoin supports, which is Canada, Europe, Costa Rica, Mexico, Argentina, Colombia, and 2 big ones coming very soon. So stay tuned for that. I'm sure you will see it all across your X's in the coming months. Create an account there, and that's how you support the project. And we funnel all other projects. And actually, Bull Bitcoin has built many open source projects that other big companies in the space are using our tech, all for free, because, you know, we want to give back to the people. So and being non-custodial, like, just to close it off, like, Bitcoin never holds your Bitcoin. This is not a Binance or a Coinbase account. Like, when you wire money to your account, as soon as you press the purchase, before you actually purchase the coin, you enter your on-chain, your Liquid or your Lightning address, and as soon as you click confirm, I want to buy, it goes straight into your own self-custody. So you can be stacking straight into cold storage. And to actually close it off with Bull Wallet, going back to Bull Wallet, the amazing thing is, as I said, you can pair your device, may that be your passport, may that be your Cold Card Q or whichever hardware wallet you're using. You can be stacking through Bull Bitcoin via Liquid. I don't know how familiar you are, Fritz, with Liquid or the listeners, but Liquid essentially, it's a sidechain on top of Bitcoin. But the beautiful thing is, and Liquid's been around for 8 years now, or close to 9 years. Like, it's been around for a long time. There's not been too much adoption. We can go into it a different time into it. But the beautiful thing about Liquid is, if you go to the liquid.network mempool, you will see that on Liquid, every transaction is 100% confidential. So you can't track any amount or any asset, because on Liquid, you can also have different assets, right? You have Liquid Bitcoin, Liquid USDT. So click on the last block, and every block is 1 minute. It's not like Bitcoin where it's 10 minutes. So if you click on the last one and you see the transactions is way less, right? Like, there was 20 transactions, but scroll down and you will see that the transactions, if you go down, keep going down. So you see, you just see the transaction fee, but from what wallet to what wallet, it's all confidential. You can't track anything. And that's by default. It's not a bug, it's a feature. So on Bull Bitcoin, you can be stacking DCA or smash buying every month into your Bull wallet using Liquid. The fees, look at the fees, are like 21 sats, or like, look at that one. It was 34 sats. Like it's a fraction of a penny. It's like, it's even cheaper than Lightning. And you don't have to manage no node. You don't have to open a channel, rebalance the channel, get it force closed, nothing. And the beautiful thing is with Bull Wallet is that we also have, as I told you in the beginning, we have many features, but I'll just share my favorite feature, which is called Auto Swap, where you can instantly atomically swap the liquid Bitcoin or Lightning to on-chain using Bolt's exchange. I don't know if you know, have you heard of Bolt's exchange?
I've heard of Bolt's, yeah.
So Bolt's actually just 24 hours ago, they had a big, they're going viral on X because they also introduced USDT, basically atomic swaps. So people that are in the shitcoiner world of all USDT on different chains, they can now instantly and anonymously swap between USDT on different chains to Bitcoin or Liquid. If you want to see it here, you need to type in beta.bolts.exchange because it literally just got released, but it's already operational.
What's it called? Vita?
Beta, like beta, BETA beta.bolts.exchange. So you can see if you click on where it says Lightning LN, I think you can choose. There you go. So you have USDT and select network. So it can be any network that you want from the whole altcoin USDT aspect, and you can change it instantly, privately to Bitcoin, on-chain or Liquid or Lightning. Wow. But going back to the Bull Wallet, so this just happened 24 hours ago, because people don't realize, I also don't like stable coins, but in Latin America, when you tell someone would they prefer USDT or Bitcoin, it's always USDT because they want the digital dollar to escape inflation. May that be the Argentine peso or the South African rand. Bitcoin is still volatile for them. We're still not there with Bitcoin where everybody's comfortable on a Bitcoin standard. If you've been stacking for half a decade or a decade, you're comfortable with fluctuations. But if you need to escape inflation now, the USDT is the path. And then now you can essentially switch it to Bitcoin without any exchange, without any permission, fully privately through atomic swaps. But to go back to Bull Wallet, we work together with Bolts, where the Bolt swap is integrated in the wallet. It works in the background, so the user never has to deal with any of the swapping. And you can either manually swap it if you want, or you can automate it. You can do parameters within the wallet. It's a shame I don't. Anyways, for people that are interested, they can download the wallet. It's Bull Wallet on iOS and Android store. You can set parameters. For example, once you're liquid, so if you actually scroll down just to show the people, there's two wallets. So you can stop right there. You have the secure Bitcoin, which is your on-chain. The reason we call it secure Bitcoin is for new people. Instead of overwhelming them with on-chain and Liquid and Lightning, we have two wallets. You have the secure Bitcoin, which is your on-chain, and you have instant payments, which is your Liquid wallet. But you can also receive and send out Lightning payments via the Bolt swap that happens in the background. So you don't have to deal with nothing. You just scan the QR code or you give it to someone, and they send you either Liquid or Lightning. But to go back to the stacking in a private and sovereign way, with Bull Bitcoin, you basically DCA or buy your Bitcoin on Bull Bitcoin exchange, withdraw it to your Lightning wallet, your instant payment in Bull Wallet, and then set the parameters that once that balance reaches 1 million sats or whatever you want, 5 million sats or 10 million sats, depending how hard you're stacking, you pair your hardware wallet to your Bull Wallet. And once the limit is reached, that 1 million sats or 10 million sats, it auto converts it to on-chain and sends it out to your cold storage. You can go even crazier, like what I suggest to my mentees that DCA every month. You set up a direct debit recurring transaction on your banking application to send the amount you want to stack every month Bitcoin to your account on Bull Bitcoin. And then you set the parameter at what level you want the instant payments to be converted to on-chain and sent to your cold storage. You set and forget. You do this once and you're stacking Bitcoin, irrelevant of looking at any price. Where is it pumping? Where is it dumping? And it's fully automized in a full self-sovereign, basically self-custodial way, which is just like
straight to cold storage.
Straight to cold storage.
Wow.
with
is
100%
awesome.
privacy, right? And
Wow.
we also have, so with Bull Bitcoin, just to close off my full undisputed shilling of Bull Bitcoin, but like this is the reason I work for they're not paying me to tell this. Like I joined the company because of these things. We have virtual IBANs. So in Europe, we have IBANs like how you have, I think, ACH in the US. And we have virtual IBANs. So basically, when you deposit or withdraw money from your Bull Bitcoin exchange, it's a virtual IBAN which is in your name. So you're not sending money to like Bull Bitcoin. It's not. It's Satoshi Portal is the actual incorporated name. You're not sending money to Satoshi Portal. You're sending money to Gigi, like your government name, your first and last name. So the bank has no idea that you're sending money to an exchange or receiving money from an exchange because it's all in your name. So like we go above and beyond with protecting privacy of our users. There we get some backlash with KYC. I mean, we are a regulated exchange, so we need to take minimal, but we take absolute minimal KYC. It can be a picture of your driver's license, and depending on amounts that you're sending, they might be like proof of funds and stuff. But we don't go into like full give us proof of address of these utility bills, that utility bills, bank statements, payment slips. Like some exchanges, because the exchanges, the reason they ask you for all of that, they deal with so much shitcoiner and casino stuff that they want to be overprotected, that when the regulator says, oh, like we need this information, they go and provide everything to them. But in our case, it's just Bitcoin. It's non-custodial. We never hold anyone's funds. So we really, and everything is in-house. Like we run the whole backend for the wallet, for the exchange, runs on our own servers. When AWS and Cloudflare goes down and half the internet for the last half a year has been going down, Bitcoin's always running. Even Strike, like when Cloudflare is down and you go to Strike app, it's like, oh, or River, or all these, it's like, oh, I can't buy Bitcoin. Like this is the time. Well, if you go to Bull Bitcoin, everything's always working because we self-host our servers. So we really take the sovereignty through and through. Like even on like our company motto is we're engineering sovereignty, right?
Nice.
That's and we have one motto, which I'll close it off, and that motto is destroy fiat. So Francis also jokes, he says we are gonna obsolete ourselves one day, because once our mission is never complete until fiat exists. So until fiat's around, our mission is non-complete. And we have one mission, and that is to destroy fiat and give freedom to people. So I just wanted to share those things. No matter where you live, guys, US, Asia, Latin America, Africa, do check out Bull Wallet. If you have any questions or need any help, now at least you know who the head of support and who can troubleshoot anything for you. Reach out to me.
Gigi's
on Primal,
the guy.
on X. But another thing, just to close it off, if how you can also reach out to support, which most probably it'll be me or my colleagues answering. Within the wallet, we have support chat, live chat, where you speak to a human. You don't even need to have the exchange account. You need an email, and you can actually do a spoof email. It can be ballistic whatever at test.com. We don't verify. We just need an email to connect the message to, and you can have instant communication with support within Bull Wallet without having an exchange. And there's no open source wallet where you have direct human interaction and troubleshooting at a fingertips. So like we really go above and beyond to give people the full support. And if you want to reach out to me personally, please do. I'm always happy to help out everyone, but I'm busy in the background, vibe coding stuff and processes to make the processes as smooth as possible for support and give people the ultimate self-custody experience when it comes to Bull and my consulting with Become Unruggable.
That's absolutely awesome. I mean, like I've used Strike a lot, and I mean, with all due respect to Jack Mallers and all that, it's an easy go-to, a way to start and all that. But as these techs evolve, I mean, Francis is awesome. The Bull Bitcoin team is awesome. I love you guys. Everything you're doing just solidly based, and the whole atomic swap options, the liquid sidechain option, the non KYC. To be honest, for me, that's kind of the next step, because I've got a stack that's very KYC, and I've left it alone, but I know its origin. And so it's like, well, as like part of your training and education, it's consolidating your UTXOs, or, okay, so I'm going to just simply move it around or pass it forward and back, but convert that over through the confidential addresses. And
it's not something dodgy. It's not like you're doing coin joins. Not that I'm speaking down on coin joins, but
yeah,
I mean you're just switching networks, and it just happens to be you switch to a network that is running on Bitcoin that is confidential, and then you
right.
switch it back. So there's many different options, but yeah, definitely Liquid is something that is underutilized, and I think we'll see more and more people just like yourself that have been in Bitcoin for some time and now realized, holy shit, like a lot of my stack is KYC'd.
Yeah.
What do? I don't have the time to be tampering with joining coin joins and downloading this software and that one. But hey,
Yeah.
Bull Wallet is one click away from your app store, and you can even automate that stuff. So yeah, it's powerful stuff. As I said, this wallet Francis built for himself for his privacy needs that he wanted, and no wallet was providing. And he wanted to cater it from beginners, even from grandmas, to the hardcore cypherpunks that have been in the space from day one and want some more advanced stuff. Because we have more advanced stuff, but there's secret paths actually to unlock stuff within the wallet. But we don't push it on users straight away. Once you're ready, we open further doors for things. So yeah, it's very exciting. And just to close it off, everybody knows Aqua very well, right? Aqua Wallet from Jam 3.
Yep.
Correct. So Aqua actually uses our tech that we built, like in the background. Not many people know. We're not as big as Aqua because we don't pay for advertising. Everything's word of mouth. Like we don't do any PR. But yeah, there's Aqua and Breeze Wallet as well, which is very popular. There's tech that these big wallets are using that actually our devs built, and we essentially open sourced it. And Cipher is another thing where a lot of actually other exchanges are using our tech for their operations because they can fork it away. And so like Francis, what he's built, like he sees himself as the guy that's a problem solver. He's not a businessman here to make X amount of money. He was telling us internally, he travels a lot, as you can imagine, and he's like, holy shit, like if I wouldn't have my values and I wouldn't be a Bitcoin only company, if I would be like down the shit coinery, I would have bought a private jet long time ago, so I don't have to deal with like commercial flying and stuff. He's like, but hard path is the way, like we're not selling out. And like the fact that, as I said in the beginning, which I'll repeat again, the fact that we've never had any external investors and it's all self-funded and we don't have to answer to anyone and we can just focus on building freedom tech ourselves is priceless. Like, what a team.
It's awesome. The more I learn about y'all, the more, I mean, I knew you were all awesome and I love Bull Bitcoin. And I mean, I learned stuff today. It's just like the tools are becoming so usable now. The access,
making the UI so easy, so it's not cumbersome. You need to download this and convert it here and unzip this file, and we want to make it super easy.
I'm speechless. It's I love it. I love where it's going, and this is just in a way the beginning, but it's going to become so accessible for anyone to just walk out the escape hatch and not have to worry and wonder and push, and it'd be like
it's right there.
Yeah, it's right there, and you just transfer right over. Oh my gosh, there are so many things I could talk about and think about.
We'll need to clock in another one in a couple of months. Because things are developing so fast. Let's do another one, because I also had a lot of things I wanted to go further down on, but we're creeping into nearly like 2.5 hours. We don't want to do a Joe Rogan 3-hour episode. Let's definitely do another one and go down different rabbit holes, and we can see where we are with things, with Bull Wallet, with AI, with the world. Are we even going to tune in? Maybe the lights are out. Who knows? Like,
right.
A couple of months is a long time, but yeah, I'd be more than happy to do it again. For
there's so much more we could talk about. Yeah, let's do it. As things develop in Bull Bitcoin, things evolve with your first stats and your other.
We have a big So I told you we have a big announcement coming up in a few months. So maybe once that is out, let's do it then. So we can share some exciting stuff with you and the listeners.
When you're ready for a next big thing, let's come on and share it. It'd be awesome.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Maybe we'll even get like Francis and some team members involved as well. We'll see how time frame, but maybe like it would be cool. We'll see. Gigi for sure will be up for it.
Oh, I would love that. That would be so awesome. Let's do it. We'll talk about it. So to find Gigi, you can find him easily at just
Yeah.
Gigi. Noster, he's also on X. You
On
can
X.
find Gigi on X.
At Unruggable Gigi.
Unruggable Gigi.
Yeah.
Unruggable Gigi.
That's the
and
one.
you've got your first sats. You can go through the easy
First sats.
steps.
First sat. So it's the first sat, just to let people know, it's on the subdomain. So you can see it's firstsat.beunruggable.com. And if you want to go through to my consulting and work with me one-on-one for your self-custody, it's just beunruggable.com is the website. So yeah, don't feel shy. Feel free to reach out. Even if you're not ready, reach out to me and we can always, plan things out into the future. This journey is only the beginning. We're all learning. So yeah, don't be shy. Reach out to me anywhere on X, Noster, or on beunruggable.com, and I'll be happy to help out everyone as much as I can.
Beunruggable.com. You will have one-on-one direct service with Gigi, top-notch time and quality. So absolutely awesome. This has been great, Gigi. I'm so glad you joined me and we're so generous with your time. I love the conversation. This was a lot of fun.
Too. And it doesn't feel like 2.5 hours, right? It felt like it was a 1 hour thing, right? When you're doing something you enjoy, you lose track of time. But yeah, thanks to everyone tuning in and listening. And I look forward to be back on your show, Fritz. And thanks again for the invite. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thanks for joining me. Everybody else, I'm going to play a quick my own little MicroSeed promo here, which is fun and funny. Nice. And we'll be saying bye until next time. Bye, everybody.
Stay safe, stack sats, and take care.
Take care. As a Bitcoiner, you know that taking self-custody is critically important. But if you've ever had a seed phrase, you've probably had it written down on something kind of like this. You can hide it or secure it, but paper burns, paper fades, paper gets wet, paper rots, paper blows in the wind. Paper has things written on it that might look important. So get off paper and get yourself a MicroSeed at microseed.io. Get the kit and crank out all the keys you'll ever need forever.